Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Pat's doing a shimmy, and Jeremy's giving us a smiley face that
A little
makes
creepy.
me think somebody did something to him before he showed up. So
Be
I'm a bit
cringe.
confused. Cringeworthiness. Yes, yes. Well,
Did he did
That's
he
what the
do
youngsters say. That's cringe.
did he do something evil?
oh, just speaking of kids with words, tis is a new word of some sort. Yeah, never heard of it before until recently.
Okay, what is that slang for?
It has to do something with being cool, I guess. A cool person. I fucking no
Well, they
clue.
had well they had to change it from Riz to Tiz evidently because
I'm just baffled by the youngsters these days and their slang.
Yeah,
you know what
Um,
Huz
I was gonna
is?
say
Do you know what the Huz? You know what
I've
Huz is?
I've given up on trying to understand people younger than me slang because I don't talk with many people younger than me. Um,
well, out of the
Huz.
21 and younger, I would assume probably not. No.
no,
Besides your nieces and nephews, but that's a
yeah, I
different
was gonna
story.
say, and only one of them's a teenager, so um,
Well, that one should be teaching you.
Yeah, she should know a lot of that slang.
anytime I see her anywhere, and I stopped over their house yesterday to give her her birthday card with her birthday money, she just is like she's being a typical teenager. She just like she just wants to look at her fucking device, and
Hmm.
the problem is, so are the other kids. My older nephew was on the Switch. He's playing Breath of the Wild. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I said, one of my friends has told me that's one of the best Zelda games ever. So it's cool that you're getting into that. Um, and he also then accused his younger brother of always wanting to be on his device. And I'm just like, okay, you guys got to do more than be on devices. And my nephew's like, I do. And I was like, well, yeah, because I said, if you just sit around looking at your device all day, you know what happens to you? He goes, what? I said, well, you get big and fat like me.
Oh my God. Oh,
I
Pat.
said, you got to stay active while you're young.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yes, the Huz. That's the way of saying hose without getting in trouble. So you can say the Huz. Bring on the Huz.
It's
Just say skank. Jesus.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yes,
so
they.
we've substituted the word hose with huz. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
teachers can't yell at you for calling them hose if you call them huzzes. Where's the
well,
huzz?
so are we saying they'd get in trouble if they said skank?
I'm gonna assume so.
Probably.
That seems arbitrary to me, but I don't know.
I don't know. We did
Um,
Uh,
stupid stuff with the English language too when we were in school, but we didn't like completely change words to make them like other words so that they
well,
could
we didn't
replace
create
other
a
things.
fucking brand new crazy ridiculous word to mean something either.
this is what I was just about to say. I'm like, I said I think our slang in like the late '80s and '90s and everything. Um, I don't think it was creating new words like Riz, which obviously is just short for charisma, because apparently saying three syllables is just too complicated. Um, it's like, what the hell were the slang words? But they could classify slang, but they still like had meaning. Like we just gave them new meaning, like radical. And
Yeah,
I blame Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for radical becoming big for as
of
an
course.
example. Just
Off the chains,
that I feel like it originated in rap. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
maybe, but either way, off the chains was another one.
Well, it's just I don't know. I just felt
Crazy,
like the words we used were still words, and now it's like
tubular.
now they're just creating words just for the fuck of it. And it's like, so I was I went into CVS yesterday to pick up a
Oh,
prescription, and I was horrified by what I saw.
Oh,
One of the reasons I was horrified
horrified.
was because I saw Reese's pumpkins.
It's too early for the pumpkin.
Right, they've already got the fucking Halloween candy in stores. We're fucking 3 months away.
it's July still. Come on,
Right.
people.
Well, it's like
Yeah, give
this
me
is
a
the way
leaf.
this is the way they do this, I mean, when did fucking back to school sales start? Graduation day. Anyway, the other thing that bothered me was I was going to pick up a prescription. So I'm going up to the counter. And there's only one person like working at the counter, and then you see the pharmacist, and there might have been another person like
That
filling
was the horrifying thing.
Yeah.
There's not enough people back here.
Well, this is kind of what I'm getting at. So there's a woman ahead of me, and she's talking, she's getting her prescriptions picked up by the person at the counter, and the person at the counter says to me, "If you want to start checking yourself in," and I was like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, you got to just put your information in on the screen." So between the last time I'd gone there to pick up a prescription, which was only probably 4 to 6 weeks ago, and yesterday, they put in touchscreens where you type in your name,
Mhm.
type in your date of birth, verify that you're picking up whatever it says that you have to pick up, and then you just wait for the person to go pick it up for you.
Well then,
It is going to get to the point where there are just fucking robots there.
Well, no, you're gonna get to go behind the counter and pick up your own drugs.
No,
You'll
it's going
just
to get
have
to the
somebody
point.
filling the drugs for you,
It's
so
going to
that
get
you
to
make sure you get the right
it's
stuff.
going to get to the point where there are just robots back there, and things will continue to just go downhill from there. So
All right, Elon Musk. Fear of robots.
it's not so much of fear of robots, though. There's also
They're
it's the
taking
fact
over.
that it's the fact that it is cheaper to just buy a robot than it will be to pay somebody. We are going to make it, this is going to lead to further income inequality because the rich people just keep getting richer and all the rest of us are just keep getting poorer. So, but anyway, my point was getting to this, tying back into the slang thing.
Doom
So,
and gloom.
yeah. I don't care.
I know.
Look the fuck around right now, for Christ's sake. But so I was texting this to my mother and my sisters about this, and my younger sister texted back, it's like, well, let me see exactly what she said. I'm gonna pull it up real quick because it triggered a memory, and I misplaced it at first, which was what I thought was hysterical. Um, oh yeah, she goes, "There's slurs for robots now, clanker," and I went,
Is the robot going to get upset if we call it a clanker?
and I went, I know I've heard that to describe robots before. What was it? And I go, did that originate in Doctor Who? And she's like, I don't know, maybe. And so by the time I was exchanging that text, I was back home. So I just typed in, I'm like, clanker. And then it hit me. Clanker is what the clone troopers in Clone Wars called the battle droids.
oh yeah, they did.
They called them clankers. I'm like, I knew I'd heard it before.
Good old Star Wars giving us a
So I'm like,
slang.
here we are with Star Wars slang now becoming a negative slang for like the continued what I'm calling robotification of our society.
Robotification.
Blinkers.
Yeah, robotification is the opposite of personification, so.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But oh my God, I was like, because here's the other thing too. So ShopRite has these new carts that apparently like start checking you out as you're putting stuff into the cart.
They do that in Japan.
Yeah. And they had the last couple times I went in there, not yesterday when I went in real quick, but they had people there as like, like pushing them on you. Like, do you want to try one of our new carts? One time I went in there and a guy asked me if I wanted to try the new cart. I had literally already picked up a basket. And he's asking me if I want to try one of the new carts.
Well, they still want to push it on you, so they want you to try it.
And because I'm not a confrontational dickwad, I just went, no,
Leave your
no, no, no,
push-up.
thank you. In my head, I was wanting to say two things.
Oh boy.
One, yeah, isn't it great that you have to push things that will eventually take your job? And two, motherfucker, I've got a fucking basket in my hand. Can't you see that I ought to hit you over the head with this fucking thing?
Ow.
That was the
Violent.
cornet. Well,
That's
actually,
angry today, Jeremy. He's just angry.
actually, If I was going to
Actually,
say the second one, I should have said it more like this.
Oh, here we go.
Motherfucker, did not see the motherfucking basket I got in my hand. Motherfucker, I'm gonna brain you with this motherfucking thing. You motherfucker.
Oh
Go
boy.
full cornet on his ass.
Ah,
it's
Cat's in a mood today, Jeremy. I
yeah, I
swear.
see that. Too many days off without
Hey,
talking.
I am on day 8
Of what?
of not being able to eat properly because I got my nuclear medicine treatment coming up this week.
Ooh, he's going
So I
nuclear
can't
on
eat
us.
I
Oh,
can't eat dairy, I can't eat chocolate, I can't eat eggs, I can't eat a whole lot of shit.
his
Okay.
hormone balance is off, Jeremy.
I was supposed to move last week. As you can tell, I didn't. That's a whole nother story I'm not going to get into now.
Dun 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 dun.
And then, yeah, I have to go through the nuclear medicine treatment this week, which means I'm going to be out of the office most of the week, which is no big deal, but except we're still trying to recover from our big system upgrade and we're still not 100% back to normal. So that's going to suck. But then, of course, after I go through the nuclear medicine treatment, I'm going to lose my fucking sense of taste for a fucking month and a half. So, yeah, I'm a little on. Yeah.
What are you going in for your nuclear treatment now for? What's this one for?
This is more. Look, here's the deal. When you get cancer, you will be checked and rechecked for the rest of your fucking life, and things
Oh
Correct.
will
yeah,
come
yeah.
up. So last year, of course, I had, lymph nodes over here that were suspicious, which they removed. So I had an ultrasound a few months ago. They said there's nothing showing up over here. But there's
Yeah.
some stuff showing up over here. And it's in a place where we wouldn't really be able to get at it through a ultrasound guided biopsy, which I've had some of those in the past, which are a lot of fun, especially when they don't fully numb you up properly and you can feel the fucking thing inside you. So they're
Oh,
saying
gives me
we
the
want you to go through
heebie-creebies.
the nuclear medicine treatment again. So this is the whole thing where you got to start, you can't eat fish or anything like that or take multivitamins for like 3 weeks before, then a week before. You can't eat a whole slew of other shit, which is mostly, like I said, dairy, egg yolks, chocolate, red dye stuff. So like no fruit punch Gatorade as an example. um shit like that.
I can't
um,
drink my Kool-Aid.
and then like there's certain kind of breads you're supposed to avoid, and I'll touch on that in a second. But then again, the treatment is I got to go there tomorrow, okay, which is basically just as like an outline type thing. Then on Tuesday, I have to go there once, leave, and go back and leave again. Then on Wednesday, I have to go there once, leave, go back, and so
Shit, what are you allowed to eat that whole time? Fucking
they
applesauce?
yeah. This is what I've been
Christ.
eating.
Nutella.
This is what I've been eating exclusively.
Christ.
This is what I've been eating exclusively for the last week. Okay. Cap'n Crunch with almond milk, which I fucking despise.
I can't do that shit.
Almond
But
milk's
I
great in
bought
cereal.
Uh-uh.
I bought the vanilla flavored and not the unsweetened, but the sweetened vanilla flavored almond milk, and it's not quite as bad as I remember. So I'm living with it. All right. So
God,
and
can't stand
Cap'n
that
Crunch is
shit.
one of the and you've been saying Cap'n Crunch. I'm like, Cap'n Crunch is one of the cereals they specifically say is okay.
Which
So
is
So
interesting.
he's like 4 bowls a day. He's like Captain
no,
Crunch.
no, no, just in the morning because I don't want to eat that much almond milk. Um, Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches,
Can't
but
do
Ooh,
that.
nice.
but got to use Peter Pan peanut butter. Jif, which I normally use, can't do it. Doesn't it has like ingredients in it that don't work
Yeah.
with this treatment. Okay,
Like other than peanuts and
turkey
sugar.
turkey sandwiches on rye bread with mustard
Ooh,
I could
because
do those.
yeah, but can't have cheese, can't have mayo, which I would normally have on a sandwich like that.
right. Because
Oh,
mayo is egg whites.
Yep, exactly. Um, Applesauce. Uh, some like not canned fruit, but like the Dole like cups of like peaches and pears and that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Um, I've had some regular apples too, full apples. Um, but that's been it for a week, and I got to go through this for 3 more days.
And through this amazing diet, folks, he has lost 60 pounds.
No, I have not lost. I have not lost any weight. I doubt. I didn't weigh myself before, and I haven't weighed myself since. Um, but I mean, I've been hungry a lot. The
It's like,
worst is
hey,
going
you
to
want
the
to lose
movie.
weight? Get cancer.
The worst though is going to the movies and not being able to eat popcorn and candy. Because
Oh
there's
yeah,
what
that
I did yesterday.
sucks.
Now, one of the other things I could do, as far as drinking, I've been able to drink anything I want except milk, and I like as a fruit punch Gatorade, but like orange juice, apple juice, tea, any soda,
Yeah.
fine. There's nothing wrong with any of those. But it's still
It's
just like a pain in the ass because it's like
yeah,
instinctually I'm going to reach for the Jif peanut butter. I'm going to reach for regular
shiver.
milk, which obviously I don't have in the house or the apartment rather, not the house.
So
So
this is
yeah,
thinking about that and all the crazy shit that you can eat. I am really surprised, and I know I kind of made light of it, and I really, you know, wasn't trying to purposely do that, but
yes you were.
or make fun of anybody who has cancer. But I am very, very surprised that nobody has tried to jump on the train of the cancer diet and like trying to get people onto that kind of a fad diet because there's like everybody else, there's people use diseases as a fad to create new diets all the time. So I'm surprised nobody's jumped on that bandwagon and tried to that fad and been like, I got a brand new diet when I was diagnosed with cancer. I could only eat these things and I lost this amount of weight. Like that would be the commercial. I could see it already.
Oh
Well,
yeah, I'm surprised someone hasn't jumped on that shit because
well,
we
well,
jump on every fucking other goddamn thing we do.
well, here's the thing. I don't know if there is a way to do that. I mean, maybe just eating organic, maybe because the reason I say that when I first got I first got the diagnosis, it's like, yeah, you probably have thyroid cancer. You know,
And then you jumped around and did a dance. You're like, I'm so excited. This is awesome. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I was dumbfounded because again, the only reason they found this was through a freak occurrence because I had that cyst under
Yeah,
my skin here that burst through, and I went to the emergency room and they did a
yeah.
CT scan as a precaution, and that's where they found it.
Which is
Um,
good.
yeah, but it's like if that fucking cyst hadn't burst through, and I just kept dealing, let that be, I might not
Yeah.
have known. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, but I asked my surgeon who was setting everything up, and I just went, all right. So I gotta ask. I don't smoke. You know, I don't do anything other than not eat
Hard
well,
drugs.
obviously. Yeah, I don't do my drugs.
Only the hard
Um,
stuff.
so I said,
Boy, those eight
so
balls.
so I was just like, is there anything I did to cause this? And he goes, no, it's in the food, it's in the water. We've got so many cancer causing agents that are out there, but they happen probably in such low doses that they can't be tested for or they won't show up and it takes a long time to manifest or whatever. And
And then it's your destiny.
It's just it's
I
it's
mean,
it's it's a chain reaction to the food industry and how it's changed
yeah,
for the worse. You know
yeah.
what I
So,
mean?
so, so, so I don't know that there is like some diet that you could say is like, you'll never get cancer if you eat this diet. And like I said, maybe eating organically because they
No,
don't
I'm
spray all
talking
the
about a weight loss
pesticides and shit.
diet.
Hmm?
I was thinking more
Or
of a weight loss diet
yeah,
Oh,
that people
organically
would jump
too
on.
would be a
Because there's already though that's already out there. If you eat organic, you will lessen your. They try to say it as lessen your chances. But the sad thing is that one of the things that I found out, and I don't know how true it is, because what can you really believe on the internet and stuff, anyways, anymore? But supposedly,
well, you can believe what I
the
say.
no, I'll trust anybody that's gone through something and said this was what happened when I went through this.
Oh, this doesn't have anything to do with me
So
going through something. I'm just saying
yes.
you must trust me.
Oh well, no, I'm not going to trust
You
you.
will
Uh,
trust me. You will trust me.
I'll think about it.
is that the whole organic thing is not really, because they're like, well, we don't use pesticides. No, you're right, you don't. You don't use a specific type of pesticide that has certain type of chemicals in it. They do use pesticides, but they are not with, like I said, there's just not a certain, and they have to use more of that type of pesticide because what they use doesn't deter the bugs as easily, so they have to douse it even heavier in this specific type of pesticide that has a different type of chemical compound to it than the normal pesticide that other farmers use. So it's not truly organic in that they don't spray their fruits or vegetables with nothing and they just let them grow because they would have like almost no crop to harvest because if they don't put something on to deter bugs, they will be overrun by bugs.
I think the pesticide is one thing, but I think the antibiotics and the meats and stuff like that, how we treat meats, and in that aspect, I think is a lot worse.
Yeah, I don't know what all has changed in the meat and dairy industry as far as that goes, and what what they inject cows and other animals with, or what they do. So, uh, you know, I know they definitely have done things to chickens to make them have, more meat than what they used to, but that's the only one that I am aware of and how they do.
It's all the preservatives and all the other jazz they pump into our food and how they make it, so on and so on. It's just overall just not good. Um, and just like the whole situation where, we have, well, what do you fry your fries with? What do you fry your chicken with? Like, are you using corn oil? Are you using beef tallow? Well, there's both pros and cons. People will say one's better than the other. Like the research I've done on both of them, neither one of them, they're both bad in their own aspects. But it's kind of one of those things where if you have this specific health issue, stay away from the corn. If you have this specific health issue, stay away from the beef tallow. It's not like we're consuming this on a regular basis, but when you go to these places, a lot of people go to some of these places that use these products, you know, 3, 4 times a week. So you're consuming it more than maybe some average people do. You're going to be highly susceptible to the negatives of eating that product with
Yeah.
that type of frying material. So it is what it is. So like beef tallow, I'm not saying it's great for you, not saying it's totally bad for you, but people with heart issues stay away from beef tallow. It's kind of one of those things in regards to that because
Unless you listen
it's
to a carnivore guy, because they'll tell you that there's nothing wrong with it. You'll fix all your heart disease problems.
yeah, yeah, and it's such a load of shit, but whatever.
I don't know. I still, as far as like eating, I'm not gonna say healthy because I think healthy is a stupid term anymore. But eating a more nutritious diet,
Eating clean
more
is what I like
eating
to use.
a more well-rounded diet instead of just one type of food. Like, you can have fast food on occasion. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have this on occasion. Um, but making sure, and when we're doing a better job, my wife and I are starting to do a better job of this just in the last 2 weeks, is we prepare, trying to cook 3 to 4 meals at home at least, sometimes more. Making sure we have vegetable with that, making sure just a well balanced meal as far as vegetables and fruits throughout the day, meat, starch of some type with our dinner, just those kind of things, because we are on the go so much. And I think that's a big thing that's changed, that's caused the diets to change, is so people are so
Yep.
busy that they don't take time to sit down, have a cooked meal that you made at home, or even maybe that a chef prepared for you if you have lots of money, you know.
Yeah. We now the three of us are not in that aspect right now, but
No,
yeah, I
but
get it.
just the home cooked
We're
meal where
yeah.
you're making mashed potatoes instead of, instant mashed potatoes. Like,
I
don't get me wrong,
fucking instant mashed potatoes are nasty. I can't eat that shit.
my wife thinks the same thing, but
You
I
can
will make
tell the
them
difference,
for a
and I
quick.
fucking can't stand that shit.
Yes,
It
instant mashed
I
potatoes
remember when
are
my mother
taste.
would make those like potato buds or whatever the hell they were, and I thought they tasted horrible. And then it finally got to the point where I said, "Mom, if you don't have time to make regular mashed potatoes, you don't need to make those.
yeah. And
I can do without them."
yeah, Jeremy, I'm in the same boat. Like on the go, work and stuff after work, coaching, things of that nature, other stuff I'm trying to do. Um, so yeah, my weight has fluctuated all over the place, and I haven't taken time to make time for myself to one, go to the gym on a regular basis, which I'm trying to consciously start doing the past couple days. But
When are you supposed to find the time?
yeah, it's one of those things. But for me, it's going to be it's one or two times. It's either going to be late at night, like after 9, or it's going to have to be early in the morning, like 5 o'clock. And I already get up around 5:30 anyway. But it's just a matter of once he starts going back to school, neither one of them are morning people. So if I get up at 4:40, go to the gym, I'm gonna have to be at the gym making sure both of them are up. So it's kind of like,
Get
you
your asses
know,
out of bed.
it's gonna be like
Snappy.
I'm not gonna have to cut my gym time short, and I can't do it after like they're up because then I need to start getting ready to go to work. So, trying to find that time to go has been challenging. Trying to figure that out because my flight, like I said, like not that we eat bad, but we can eat better. More
Mhm.
balanced, a little bit more cleaner, in regards to what we eat. And I guess my weight would be so fluctuating all over the place, which this drives me crazy. But yeah, it's challenging. Priorities are is what it is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna be the dickhead now.
Uh,
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're saying you're eating cleaner.
Yeah,
Do you go to Panera a lot?
no.
Panera's no. That would be my daughter. She loves Panera.
I'm just making fun of the fact about how I don't know if they're still doing that because I haven't really seen an ad for them in a while. But Panera had that ad campaign for a long time where they were talking about their clean food,
Yeah, no.
No, if
and
you're
it's like,
serving lunch meat, you're not a clean food. Lunch meat is
well,
so
that's what it
highly
was. I remember
processed.
Keith Law, the baseball writer who used to be with ESPN, and now he's
Yeah,
with the
process is
Athletic. Now
horrible.
he's with the Athletic. Yeah, he would make fun of that relentlessly with his typical snark and everything. And he just saying, basically, he was just saying how it's literally a fucking meaningless term. It doesn't mean shit. And he's right. It doesn't mean shit.
Mm-mm.
What the fuck is
Eating clean is
clean food? You
eating
know?
clean is just a term for healthier food. That's really just the logistics of it.
Right, that's what they're trying to say. But because if they said healthy, they'd have to prove that it is. And you can tell just by looking at the ingredients, like Jeremy said, most of their stuff you can't really say is. So that's what they come up with. It's a complete marketing thing. It's subliminal, bullshitting people. People say, "Oh, their food is clean. That must mean it's good for you." And of course, if
Like
somebody
a
were to ever
turkey
try to like
sandwich.
sue them and say, "You said your food was healthy." No, we didn't. We said our food was clean. But the implications are, well, people can imply all kinds of things. That doesn't mean that's what we meant.
Now, overall, could it be healthier than some other options? Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Is it the
remember.
healthiest option out there? Probably not, but
Yeah,
probably
I'll,
better
I'll
than a
say
lot of other
I'll say
items.
this. So the fun the fun thing about Panera. So you go there and you'll get the two and two so you'll get like a half a sandwich and a half a bowl of soup. So you're like, okay, that's a pretty good lunch. You're right, that is. But then they ask you, would you like an apple or would you like bread? Oh,
Would you like
I'll
the
take
chips?
I would like bread. Would you like chips? Because like you always get a side with your sandwich and you always get something with your soup and so you're just like, yeah, chips or an apple. And do I want bread with my soup? Sure, I'll have bread and I'll have the chips. So now you just quadruple loaded your freaking carb intake for that one meal. And it's like, well, what would have been a decent meal without all the extras has now turned into something that is not so good for you. Not to say it's bad
But
for you, but you have quadruple probably the calorie intake than what you actually really probably needed for
Yeah.
your lunch.
but
So
that
And
is
you can
there
that
do
was,
whatever you want. I
individual
don't care, but
that
it's
is
just
your
funny.
that is the individual person's choosing to go that route
Yes.
with
yeah.
the bread and the chips instead of getting the fruit cup.
So
because
So,
that's my daughter. She will get the soup, and I don't care what she gets. Like I'm not like tracking her calories or anything crazy like that. But
broccoli cheddar is not a healthy soup.
yes, she'll get like
it's
broccoli cheddar
fucking
soup
awesome.
or some kind of cheese soup. Which, like I said, I don't care. You can eat
Loaded
whatever
baked
freaking
potato
food you
soup.
want
Yeah.
to. I just try to make sure that when she makes a choice, she's making a choice that is a better choice than I want the mac and cheese, I want bread, I want sandwich, I want like just the it's total carb meal. At least have some kind of semblance of a vegetable in there with the broccoli cheddar soup. At least it pretends to have vegetables in
Well, I
it.
mean, obviously it does, but when it's granted, when it's a cheese base, yeah.
Um, but yeah, she'll do the broccoli cheddar soup she doesn't do really sandwiches, so she gets the bread and then she'll have mac and cheese. So she'll have mac and cheese, soup, and bread. I'm like, okay, Sure. Because like I said, we don't do Panera often, so it's a once in a blue moon type of meal for her. So it's just funny like that. She's that kid that does that.
So so back when I was trying to die, this is years ago now.
Did you say
Um,
die or diet?
both.
Yet.
Um,
Did it sound like I said back when I was trying to die?
there was
Damn you.
Men's Health magazine. They still, I think they still do it. Like the whole like eat this, not that,
They do.
Yeah.
where they compare stuff at like restaurants and grocery stores and blah blah blah. So they had it was like a small book, and it was basically covering both like grocery store and restaurant. I said, oh, this could really maybe help me right now with trying to do stuff. And so they had it like broken down by like popular restaurant, like chain restaurants. It's mainly like this is the stuff you want to order, this is the stuff you want to avoid, and blah blah blah. And I lo and behold, my shock when I paged through to the Panera section, and it wasn't even on the like not that part of the page saying like don't eat that. It was on like the I can't remember how exactly they worded it, but it was essentially like the way to best describe it would be like item you think is okay but really isn't. And lo and behold, it was the sandwich that I always ordered at Panera at the time. They don't make that sandwich anymore because they've changed their menu around several times since then. So that book, of course, I don't even have that book anymore because it got horribly out of date, of course. But it definitely made me think twice about ever ordering that sandwich again. Did I stop ordering that sandwich?
Oh, of course not.
No, but I did go to Panera a lot less than I had.
All right.
So
Understandable.
So let's change our topic here. Let's segue to a different topic and let's talk about the newest movie that has come out on Netflix, Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy
Because there is
Gilmore
a
also.
because there is a lot of mixed feelings on this movie. A lot of mixed feelings. Now, I thought it was funny. Was it as funny as the original? Of course not.
I'm just happy
But
you watched it to see it,
shut
you
up.
know,
I'm
on
still behind on
time
Andor. Leave
this
me alone.
time.
Got to episode 2 of Andor. Leave me alone. I'm gonna watch 3 sometime today.
Oh my God.
We watched Happy Gilmore. We went over to my brother's house and watched Happy Gilmore 2 and Happy Gilmore marathon movie style on the day it
Done.
came out on Netflix. So yes, I was watching it the day it came out on Netflix.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It makes me so good. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of mixed feelings. Like if you go out there and search, like people are like, Happy Gilmore sucks, and like their headings and stuff like that on their videos. I'm just like, for me, I thought it was funny. Was it as funny as the original? No. My son and it was me and my kids that went over to my brother's house. My wife had something else to do, so she was like, "I want to go, but I can't. I got to take care of this. This is very important." I'm like, "Okay." So we went. My son said the first one he thought was funnier than the second one. He thought the second one was funny, and he watched them both for the first time that day. So that's an honest opinion from a kid who laughed. And he also just recently watched Nacho Libre and thought that was funny. So I'm getting him into some of the funnier movies from the like late '90s. With
That's
some of
good.
the
Libre came out in like 2008.
yeah, I know that was later, but still, like he's starting to enjoy some of the movies that were before his time and that I thought were stupid funny, and he finds them stupid funny. I love kids, for that. But yeah, so Pat, I know you enjoyed the movie, but you also had a criticism of the movie as far as something. So go ahead and hit us with that criticism.
My criticisms of the movie aren't like severe or scathing. Like you said,
Right.
was it as funny as the original? No, of
Nope.
course not. I mean, the biggest problem I would say on the whole with comedy sequels is especially one where there's been such a gap, right? Is going to always be the need to feel like you have to
Overdo it.
do stuff that you did in the first one. And so one of the things that this movie did in abundance and too much was callbacks to the original. Um, So like the happy place thing, um, probably didn't. I mean, there was actually an important thing with that when he's like having the vision of, okay, spoilers for people who haven't watched it yet. I'll give you a few seconds to switch off, okay? It's not much of a spoiler because it happens like first thing in the fucking movie. But anyway,
I
so
know.
when he goes to the happy place and it's like essentially just rerunning the footage from the first one, but then now Julie Bowen now as the vision of his now dead wife comes and is like, I can't believe this is your happy place and blah blah blah. So that served a purpose. But doing it full thing where like bringing back the little person riding the tricycle thing, but only this time now having it being Rob Schneider to give that piece of shit worthless talentless hack a fucking cameo because he's Sandler's buddy didn't need to be there.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off at that part because I was like, "Oh my God, this is how they
Yeah,
got
see, I
this
roll
is."
my eyes because I think Rob Schneider sucks now for multiple
Well,
reasons.
I
And the
understand
fact that
why.
he's doing, and the fact that he keeps doing the fucking "you can do it" line, which is from a completely different movie as
Yep.
well, didn't need to be there. Um, Having Richard Keel's character's son didn't need to be there. You didn't need to
Who?
call back to him, the big guy, his boss.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they had the NBA player play his son. Yeah, they didn't need to do that. I thought that was
That
kind of
wasn't
silly.
necessary.
Especially
Having
the way they made his mom be in it then too. They had his mom and he's like, "Don't hit me, mom." And his mom's
Yeah,
like 4 foot tall.
yeah. Well, that's supposed to be fun. It's like, oh, this big, huge, hulking guy is scared of his tiny mother. Yeah.
You
Um.
should be, damn it.
Yeah. Having Chubbs's son didn't need to be in it. The guy added nothing to the plot. It was just an excuse to bring back the jokes about having a fucking wooden hand. So that didn't need to be there.
I'm not gonna lie, that was funny too, only because he shows like if you don't watch any of the sport like any of the trailers, you don't know that he's probably gonna be in it. And the fact that he comes up with a wooden hand and he's like, "Nope, lost it in the vending machine. I really needed my whatever." I was like, "Oh my God, like really?" Like that's the way he loses it.
I
Like
like when he was walking away and she's like, the lady, the blonde's like, if you don't come back, he's like, whatever, European such and such. And I was just like, the line he said just had me rolling. I was like, that was funny. I don't know
It was
why, but it was
yeah,
funny.
you're
that was
right.
a
As
funny.
far as adding anything to the movie, it doesn't really. But there was some funny stuff, interactions and things that came out of him being in the movie.
Hold on.
There was so many cameos too. The cameos were just, I felt like an
Yeah,
overload, to
the
be
cameos
honest.
were definitely an overload. Now, here's the funny thing. I was reading back about some things about the original.
I mean, he had his kids in there, so that was cool.
The funny the one of the funniest parts of the original, of course, was the Lee Trevino cameos.
Yeah, because they were so random.
The
Like,
fact
why is
that
he
he
at the
just kept
mini golf
showing up to
course?
do that in the first movie, and then of course does the Grizzly Adams did have a beard. Now I read recently that Lee Trevino was actually horrified when he saw the finished movie because he didn't think it was going to be something that was like that raunchy or something. To which I of course went, oh, I get my. But there's Lee Trevino in the sequel. So I guess he was able to reconcile his feelings with it. But then they have all these other older golfers there, Jack Nicklaus and Nick Faldo and Corey Pavin. And then they have all the golfers who are there now, which those were fine because they're part of the whole team, with the whole, PGA versus Maxi golf thing. And it was
And every
obviously
time I heard Maxi
PGA.
Golf, all I could think was Maxi Pads.
That's
I'm kind of thinking that
same
too.
here, man.
And,
Same here. I'm not gonna lie.
obviously that whole thing was supposed to be some kind of a parallel to the whole PGA versus Live Golf thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that was. I figured that it
Yeah.
was
And
interesting.
hey, at least they got the most out of Scotty Scheffler, definitely, because he hits the guy and then they arrest him and he goes, no, not
Yeah.
again.
I know
I
the I know I
forgot.
know the drill. He
Yeah,
misses
I had
it.
forgotten about that. So when he's like, not again, it's like, oh yeah, I know the drill. I just went, oh yeah, he got arrested. That stupid shit. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. So they did at least get the most out of that. And John Daly he was okay. He was
I
okay.
thought it was hilarious when, when he's like when he's telling his daughter all the different locations that he has alcohol throughout the house, and he's like, hand sanitizer, and Daly's like, "I'll take that." And he's like, and he's like, "That is hand sanitizer."
Yeah, I appreciated that. I did
Gotcha.
appreciate that one too, because John Daly's substance abuse problems are also a well-known fact. So,
Yes, but yeah,
um,
that was
yeah, so
hilarious.
so so there were too many. So yeah, there were too many callbacks. There were too many cameos. There were too many characters. I mean, quite frankly, did he need to have four sons? No, he really didn't, because actually, individually, none of them are relevant. It's just that they're a collective, essentially, that they all basically act the same way. That they all did, like, the groin gimmick, gag,
Yeah,
and
and then guess who was started doing that all of a sudden?
Your
well,
son.
hey, you let him
Mhm.
watch the movie, so you brought it on yourself.
He was.
That's bad parenting, man. Okay.
So we were over at the gym yesterday. So not that just a little veer off here. We were at the gym yesterday, and this kid he picks up a broom and he's like, "Dad," and then he's doing that thing with the broom. My wife and I were dying. My daughter's just there, like, really, like, like, Lucas, what are you doing? I was like, it's funny. I don't
Oh,
care what
so
you say,
so
kiddo. It's funny.
so
Now,
Abby's
Lucas,
at
stop
the
it.
so Abby is at the I get embarrassed by my brother stage.
She's embarrassed by everything.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense because she's around the same age as my oldest niece, and she's kind of like that now too. So,
Yeah. Oh man.
especially her younger siblings. So,
So, so yes, too many kids. Um,
because again, they really, which is funny. And then the thing is, like, if you even look at my sister, how fucking you? So it's like, okay, at least they're going to be protective of their sister, who I hate to say this too. I'm certainly going to criticize her acting, but she's only 16 because that's Adam Sandler's daughter playing his daughter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, she's
yeah, she's
she's
the
really
youngest
only
daughter.
16. I had the feeling that they were trying to play like she was older than that.
No, no, she was going to a dance school that was supposed to be like one of those like the Juilliard school, like Juilliard's
Yeah,
for high
but
school
yeah,
students.
but that's just it. I don't think you go to those schools until you're like college age. So I was getting the feeling that they were supposed to be saying that she was like 18 or 19, but the actress is really only 16. And to be honest, to me, she looked older than 16. But I don't know. I found that maybe a little weird that they were using a girl who is still underage. That could just be me misinterpreting it though. So
Yeah, I think you're might be misinterpreting that because I think like she's supposed to play a high school age student.
yeah, they didn't make it abundantly clear that I can
Yeah, that was
recall.
not clearly defined as like how old is she supposed to be? Is this school for high school students? You know,
Yeah,
what is the purpose of this school and
yeah.
this?
Now I'm not going to criticize her acting. There was nothing wrong with her acting, certainly. And
Yeah,
his
yeah,
other
two of
daughter
his
who played his other daughter who played the woman in the support group then too.
yeah.
She was fine too. I mean, and his wife's there as the ballet teacher, which I was like, oh yeah, nepotism, but I don't care. I mean, it's his movie. He's producing it. He
Yeah,
wrote
and
it.
he's been doing that for years with his wife, putting his wife in movies, and she never ever plays his wife. She is always an opposite role of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um,
question for you. Did
See,
I the one person I missed and I don't remember, and maybe it's because she was in uh makeup. I don't remember seeing Nikki Bella as
she was the
Medusa.
one in the blue outfit next at when they first introduced the maxi golfers. I didn't see it either.
No,
She
that was
had
I
Becky
like
don't
Lynch.
she
recall.
had the hat on. She had the blue hat on or the purple hat on. She was either in purple or blue.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing her either, and I don't remember if I saw ahead of time that she was in it, but I did see something I think after I watched it that said like Nikki Bella comments on lines being cut from Happy Gilmore too, and I went, oh, Nikki Bella was in it.
Yeah,
Wait, who was she
because they
again?
had
I
they had
mean,
five golfers on the maxi team, right? There was five golfers. There was the short chubby kid who I know, but I can't because he looks so different now that he's older.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
I
So
see. I
you
see
had
dead
him.
people.
You had Reggie Bush, who I didn't realize was Reggie Bush until I saw the credits. I was like, "Holy crap, that was Reggie Bush!"
it
Yeah,
didn't look like him,
Uh,
no.
you
you
had
had the dude that had the chainsaw.
you had Rebecca Quinn.
Yep, you're Rebecca Quinn, and then Nikki Bella was the one that was the other female golfer, and her part is so short because it's only the introductions, and then they cut almost everybody's golf piece out. Like they only showed the Becky Lynch one with Shooter. They showed the one with Reggie Bush.
Who's Becky Lynch? She wasn't in this movie. Rebecca Quinn was in this movie.
Rebecca Quinn.
Well, I'm being utterly
I
serious.
know.
Wasn't she just billed as Rebecca Quinn? I don't think she was billed as
Yeah,
Becky
no, she
Quinn.
was not billed as Becky Lynch. She was billed
Yeah.
as
Rebecca Quinn. Yeah.
So
Obviously,
she was
anybody who knows wrestling is going to see her though and recognize.
right. And I was like blown away. I was like, "Holy shit, Becky Lynch is in this movie!" Like, really?
I knew Becky Lynch was in
I
it.
knew she was in it. I just didn't know what role she was going to play.
Yeah, I didn't realize she
So
was going to end up being one of the maxi golfers. So.
so you had the chainsaw guy, you had Reggie Bush, you had Rebecca Quinn. Those so we saw the chainsaw guys put his a little bit of his match. You saw a little bit of Reggie
I
Bush's
thought
match.
there was
You
only
saw
one female golfer though, and that was Becky
no, there was
Lynch's
two.
role.
I thought there was only the one too. Yeah.
Because there was only 5 of them. There was 4
Yeah.
guys and a girl.
I'm pretty sure
No,
Becky
there was two
Lynch was
girls.
the only female golfer that was playing. Maybe Nikki Bella was somebody who was like there with them, but maybe she was just like a hanger. I don't
Nikki was Medusa, her name states, but
Right,
I
she
don't
was
remember.
Medusa. She was one of the
yeah,
golfers.
I don't know.
Maybe it was super short, but she wasn't part of the one of the 5. I don't remember that.
I do not fucking remember seeing her.
It was Harley, Screech, 8 Ball, Flex. I don't know. Where's the other
I
one?
hope Dustin Diamond's family got some royalties out of that.
So do I. That shit was funny. Roy McIlroy, yeah, you have a fan group over here. They think it's they think it's popular. All the Screech signs, that shit was hilarious.
All being held up by girls who were not old enough to ever see Screech.
No. Eminem being there as Donald Jr. was interesting.
I thought that was dumb. That was the only cameo callback that I thought was absolutely stupid. I was like, this doesn't make any sense as to why he's here or anything. That was the one I did not like.
Yeah,
And
there's
I
a
thought
ton
was
of golf.
absolutely stupid.
There was a ton of golfers in that fucking movie.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense because they show that he makes the tour and that he's becomes a golfer for quite a few
6-time
years.
champion.
Yeah, 6-time tournament champion. Yeah, so it's just like they do those things. So it makes sense why he would be there and why all those golfers would be there because it was like the tour championship gala or whatever they referred to it as.
It's yeah, I just found it hilariously ridiculous. There was like a lot of funny moments. Bad Bunny's role, I think he did a good job with his character. To be honest, I thought that was funny. There's a lot of funny moments in there, but it's kind of so over the top and ridiculous at the same point. And it makes me feel like that's what Adam Sandler wanted to do, but it is what it is. Overall, it's a movie worth watching. You'll get a laugh out of it. It's nothing
Yes.
too
Yeah,
serious
I
or
mean,
anything like that.
let me just kind of try to emphasize my criticisms there about, I'm calling it the triple C. Too many cameos, too many callbacks, too many characters. It did not detract from my overall enjoyment of the movie. Is this a great movie? No, of course not. I wasn't ever expecting it to be. I just wanted it to entertain me and make me laugh, and it did that. I was laughing out loud hysterically many more times than I thought I was going to.
Yeah,
No.
same
And
here.
that's what the first one was. It wasn't
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore itself is not a great movie by any means.
Right, but it's
But it's a funny movie.
It's a very funny, entertaining movie. And again, you're not supposed to take it seriously. There's obvious moments in both movies, the original and this sequel, that you can say, well, that doesn't make any logical sense, or like that's not something that would ever happen realistically. I mean, Jesus Christ. In the first movie, there's no way they would ever make him, hit the ball off of Richard Keel's foot, and then there's no way they would ever make him try to putt around the fallen TV stand. Obviously,
Yeah. Well, and the fact that the cart's on the golf course at one point in time, that would have never happened. Like there was just so many things that are impossibilities
Yeah.
in the real world. But that's
Right.
what made
And
it
again,
funny
it's
that
like-
these things happened.
Right, when he hits the ball into the water in the first movie, and then he dives into the pond and
It
retrieves
beats
it.
up the alligator.
He's still going to get a penalty for that, and, like,
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
thought it
but again,
was.
it's just the funny gag of him diving into the pond to find the ball. Him at the bottom of the pond, seeing all the other balls that are there, and then pulling out the one that's his. Like he would know,
Yeah.
So
Okay, so Becky Lynch is one of the maxi golfers.
yes, we know that.
Okay, well, not sorry, Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella. So when they're doing, so here's the only time that we actually see her, except to think maybe in the original introductions, because there is five. So I know you guys cannot probably. Come on, look the other way.
Get your phone to behave, damn it.
So there, I don't know how well you guys can see that because it's
No, I
I
just
reflect.
see
can't because
my
it's
I
just
just see my
reflecting your
face.
screen back. Turn it that way a little. Oh no, other way. There we go. There's no glare now. Okay.
So you have two girls and two guys, and Haley Joel Osment is at the end scene where he's watching the spinning golf green.
Oh, is she
So
the one?
is
Is
she the
She's
one
the
Nikki the
one
next?
in the
one in the
blue.
green?
Is she?
Yeah, the
Yeah. Is she
bluish
next?
green.
Is she next to Becky Lynch?
Yes, she is.
She has
Okay.
the white visor on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's the one. Yeah, Nikki like beats her up or some shit at some point.
Yeah.
I did not even take notice of that being her.
Because
Yeah,
it's so
it
quick.
Yeah.
it didn't look like her. She's in a
Yeah.
couple scenes, but like very,
Hey.
very,
Yeah,
very.
she's just a person in a scene. She has no lines. And that's the part of editing a movie. Like you figure out, okay, this line doesn't need to be there, that we need the visual, but we don't need the lines. And so like I
Well,
think that's where she was like caught off because, her first time being in a film, she's expecting to be have lines in the movie
yeah.
because she did the lines, but they cut them out.
Unfortunately, stuff like that always gets lost when you have to edit a movie down for release, where like something can get shown in a trailer and then it never hits. Like Rogue One, for example, there were supposedly reshoots. There were so many shots that were in the Rogue One trailer that weren't in the final movie. And there's times where characters get cut. The war movie, The Thin Red Line, is kind of notorious that a bunch of very familiar stars were in that movie and got cut out of it completely for various reasons.
Hmm.
And just recently, this isn't really much of a spoiler because it was announced ahead of time. You saw John Malkovich in the trailer for Fantastic Four. He got cut out of the movie. So that kind of shit unfortunately can happen between like when they start marketing a movie with like
Hmm.
teasers and trailers and everything, and then
Yeah,
when you actually get to the final cut. And there's always usually good reasons for it. Um, I can't imagine whatever lines Nikki Bella might have had would have added all that much to the experience. And that's
No.
not a knock on her. That's just the movie. So,
Yeah.
but
One of
yeah,
my favorite
it's kind of
things.
funny how it didn't even like register. Like, oh look, there's Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Maybe
it
it's
didn't
because
even
she was
look.
wearing the visor. I don't know. Oh, whatever.
One of my favorite thing, I'll say my favorite thing about is how they reintroduce Shooter into the movie because he's been locked away in an insane asylum
Yeah,
since
it's
since that.
see, this is one of the things that I actually liked about the movie a lot.
That shit was funny.
It's hysterical that yeah, he's been in a mental institution ever since the end of the first movie. That it just totally snapped him and everything.
That shit was hilarious.
But I love that the maxi golf guy, Benny Safdie's character, talk about. I didn't even recognize it, like, because I knew he was in it, but the last thing I saw him in as far as an actor was in Oppenheimer, where he played the scientist Teller and he spoke with an accent. He looks completely different. He sounds completely different. I didn't know that was him at first, so pretty good. Uh, and he was also the guy who directed Sandler and Uncut Gems, which is, of course, one of the most un-Sandler movies ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a very good movie. But anyway, so he's the one he essentially springs Shooter from the mental institution, and of course, this is by the point he's been rejected by Happy in the movie. So he's trying to get Shooter on his side, and it would be so easy for Shooter to be, yeah, I just want to get back at Gilmore. But I love that they kept his character consistent and that he shows him this, for lack of a better term, extreme golf, and Shooter is completely horrified by it because
Yeah.
it's exactly the opposite of what he believes in as far as traditional golf.
yeah,
And the funny thing is now is that Happy has basically became that in all the intervening years, more or
Hmm.
less. Happy is sticking up for golf. So I love that they actually paired Shooter with him then, and that they
yeah,
were more or less allies then for the rest of the movie. It was consistency of character, and I really appreciated that. So, because again, it would have been so easy just to have him be the villain again. it was interesting and different that they didn't do that. So
Yeah.
I think that's very much the movie's credit.
Yeah, it's funny when he's trying to get him to be shooter again, like the golfer shooter in his charismatic like self, and he's like, "And where do they need to go? Back to their shanties."
I love that. That
Yeah,
was
That
that
shit
was
was
awesome.
hilarious.
that was one of the parts I was definitely cracking up because I always love that because he's saying like under his breath. It's like that scene in the movie where he like chips in and they're
Damn you
recording him
people,
like,
go back to your
"Damn you people,
shanties.
go back to your shanties."
This
And
is
I
shanty
golf,
is
not a rock
shan-
concert.
and shanty is such an old fashioned word. I mean,
Yes.
there was this musical artist in the mid 20th century called Eddie Arnold. He was like a country singer, but he did a Christmas album that my dad had, and which I now have because I heard it so much as a child. I feel weird if I don't hear it at Christmas time. One of the songs on this Christmas album was called "Will Santa Come to Shanty Town?"
Oh my God.
And it was well, it was sung from the perspective of a
Awesome.
poor child who was
Right.
concerned that Santa wouldn't come to his neighborhood because they were poor.
Yeah, yeah,
So
no,
it's
I
like,
get it. It's just
yeah.
funny.
But
I
so it's like, yeah. So the word shanty always sticks with me because of
I
that.
saw two naked bikers having sex off the tee at 19, at 18. How am I supposed to putt?
I thought it
That
was
going on.
interesting how they had his wife die in the movie. That was a bit
That got
unexpected
people
for
in an
me.
uproar too because, oh my God, how can they kill off her wife? Well, it sets up the premise of why Happy is not happy anymore. Like, you
Right.
have to
I'm
have something
like,
traumatic
I
happen.
mean, I'm fine with her die, like her passing away is fine, but how she
Funny.
passed away, I was
That's
just like,
hilarious.
oh God, people.
well,
She hits him
yeah.
with a golf ball.
Obviously, it's completely fucking ridiculous that that's the way that she died.
I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
why wouldn't
But,
she move? Try and
but,
move.
but like you said, well, in real life, if like a long drive was seriously coming at her and she just like looked up, it would be on her in a second. It's like
Yeah.
she wouldn't have a chance. Um, I would find it very like again, it'd be very unlikely it would ever fucking kill her. I mean, people have been hit with drives that have gone out of bounds at golf courses before. I don't think anybody's ever died. Anyway, but yeah, it gives the whole crux of the movie that he falls apart. He loses his career, he loses the house, his grandmother's house. So he like loses everything except his kids, more or less. And if he becomes the alcoholic, it gives him what it is that he needs to overcome in the movie. It's what
well,
because
yeah, of course.
it's like it's why he's an emotional wreck. It's why he's damaged and everything. They really couldn't have done that without his wife being dead, but it gives it that extra oomph because he obviously is more or less responsible for his wife being dead. And so there's a sweetness to that too because it shows how much he did love her
Yeah.
and everything. So because when you come right down to it, Happy and Virginia was their character name getting together in the first movie. It's really one of the most unlikely pairings in any movie. There's no reason that they should ever be together, you know. So
Yes, indeed so. Indeed.
Hal-El. Look at the name tag. You're in my world now. I was glad they brought that character back. Ben Stiller's character, while very short in the movie, was hilarious in the first one, and it
well,
made sense. It was a
it was
little
Weird.
goofy in the second one
oh
because
it
he
was
just
it
had
was
them
de-
He was
it
a
doing his
was
little
house.
creepy in the second one.
it was definitely goofy, but yeah, he was essentially just it was a continuation of what he did in the first movie, but at least he got his comeuppance at this one. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, it was a fine movie overall.
yeah, so again, it's if you I mean because it is a little long, especially for a comedy, but it's definitely worth checking out. And again,
Yeah.
like I said, I think if you're a fan of the first one, I think you'll be entertained. So again, there are enough callbacks to the first one. Obviously, it's not exactly like the first one. It's more. I would say the first one was more overall plot driven because the plot of the first one never really changes. He discovers he has a talent for being able to drive the ball further than everybody, so he uses that to try to win back the money to save his grandmother's house. That's the plot of the first one. The plot of this one changes a little bit at times. First, it's about him trying to just get back to being a golfer. Then it's the whole thing about, well, we got to beat Maxi Golf. So,
Yeah.
there's more to this one that, it could have probably been streamlined. But again, like I said, I think it's entertaining and I think you'll laugh. So.
Yes. If you don't laugh,
Absolutely.
you're probably not alive anymore in your chair. So, wanted to tell you guys I was this time of the year is the end of summer basketball season, and they always have this basketball tournament down at Cedar Beach Park. It's called Awesome Fest.
Did the
There's a lot
court
of other things.
melt?
What?
Did the court melt?
No, it
Because
did
it's
not.
been so fucking hot.
I know. I felt bad for the kids this year. Like it was hot last year when I was there coaching JV, but it was even. I felt like it was hotter this year, like just with the humidity there.
Most
But
likely, yeah.
Heat dome.
so I went to support my nephews because my nephews play for East Stroudsburg North. Got to see them play in two of their three games, and their team. It like when you watch high school kids play, you don't expect them to run around like rec ball kids, and that's the thing that like was surprising to me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a surprising way because with coaching recreational basketball, kids just kind of until they start to learn the basics and understand why you do what you do, you just kind of run up the court and try and throw up a shot. Maybe you'll pass it to one of your friends, and that's kind of how the game goes. Well, that's kind of how the game goes for this high school team. And I'm like, wow, they don't really try to run an offense. Like they just run up. Somebody tries to drive the lane. If they can kick it, they'll maybe kick it, or they'll try to throw up an ugly shot. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Um,
Interesting.
so, needless to say, they run a million miles an hour, but they run out of gas by the fourth. Like if they weren't going, they were doing halves, so it's not no quarters. But by the fourth quarter in a regular season game, because I did get to see them play once, they run out of gas because they just you can't go that long without running out of gas eventually. You have to slow up your pace at some point in time during the game. Um, but I saw them play, got to see the school that I was at play. They competed, but they only won one of their games out of three.
Okay.
I got to see Reading play because they played Phillipsburg, and my cousin coaches Phillipsburg, so I got to see Reading play. Reading has so two things about tall kids. The one team that my nephews played was from Philly. They had two kids on their team that were at least 6'6", and their team and my nephew's team, they don't have anybody over 6 foot. Like 6 foot is the tallest.
Oh my
So
God.
they were the entire team was playing in the land of the giants. The one kid had like 6 blocks. It was crazy.
Not
But
surprised.
then I went over to watch Reading because, like I said, they were playing Phillipsburg. Now Phillipsburg has a couple taller guys, but still nobody that extremely tall. Their tallest guy is actually in Florida, playing in a tournament down in Florida. Reading had this white kid that was 6'10". He
Damn.
was massive, a massive kid.
How old is
I
he
was like,
supposed to be?
good Lord. And then they brought this other kid off the bench. He was probably 6'6", 6'7". I was like, good Lord. Like, I would not even want to play against those kids. Like, you got, like, that's just nuts. I was like, these kids are gigantic. Like, I don't know where
They
what the
brought
hell
the
these kids
big
are.
boys to play.
Yeah, they did. It was, and they didn't, they did, no, that was their JV that lost. But yeah, Reading is. But if you know anybody, if you live in this area, anywhere within the Lehigh Valley area, or Reading or anything like that, you know what teams are good and you know what teams are traditionally good. And Reading is one of those teams that's traditionally a good team, even when they have a bad season where they don't maybe go deep in the states, or maybe they don't make the state tournament by just because they didn't finish well in the 6A bracket, whatever it may be for their district. They are always still really good. And they're looking to make a state run this year. I was talking to one of the people that live there and follows follows the high school team because his son's in that school district, but
Okay.
he's still only like a younger kid. He said this is a year that they're expecting to run deep because they've last year was a rebuild year. This year they have all their kids back. So I was like, well, it looks like they could do it again. Like they look like a team that could definitely make a deep run.
That's
But I
good.
was just like, it's nuts. Like seeing some of these kids play in that. But yeah, it was good. It's one of the things that I look forward to now that I had a chance to coach in it, that I want to continue to go and watch occasional games, like especially as my nephews are still competing in it. If they're down there every year, I want to be able to go watch their games, and then they stick around and watch other teams play and see how they do. So it's a good event, and they had boxing this year. They had Friday night fight night at
Interesting.
there, so they it's youth boxing, so it's not like professionals. It's youth because there is a lot of I didn't realize there was so much boxing in this area, but there is a lot of boxing now.
Yeah, there
So they
is.
had that. They had the slam dunk contest last night, along with a 3-point contest. So
Mhm.
they do a lot of different things. They have beach volleyball there. They do run a beach volleyball tournament. So there's just all kinds of events going on, and there's local food vendors and things of that nature. So it's a good time. It's something that if you live in the Lehigh Valley area, you should definitely check out, just because of what it brings people together to do, and that's just enjoy spring and summer sports.
That's awesome. Yeah, they added the dunk and the 3-point contest. They didn't do that when I was still living out there. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool
wouldn't say
though.
it's anything great because they're high schoolers. Most high school kids are not like I'll say most. I'm not saying every high school kid because you do see some of these high school kids that can really get the hell up there.
Oh
The
yeah.
ones that I have seen in our area that come up to that play at this are not like they can dunk, but they're not getting up above the rim where they're going between their legs and doing like some of the crazy stuff that you see, pros do.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They're not the they don't
they're
have
doing windmills and,
they don't have the
you know,
35 plus inch verticals.
yeah, they're doing a windmill dunk or they're doing, a reverse dunk. They're doing pretty basic stuff. But for them, for a high school student, that's still impressive. Like the fact that you can get up and dunk.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, it's still good. Still good. Absolutely. Um, so while I was in Florida,
oh yeah, so full sail, got a full
so
sail.
so we were in Florida.
You were at Full Sail University?
Yeah, was.
You
So
did not go see NXT.
yeah, you know what? It's funny when I was there, I saw like two tractor trailers like with WWE stuff on there and NXT, and I was like, oh, is there an NXT show here? And I'm like, I don't know if it was before I was down there or after I was down there, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I did see the WWE stuff down there. But for the esports tournament itself, this year was it was a good year. Um, I think it was set up better this year than it was last year. Um,
Nice.
the outcomes weren't what we wanted, but it is what it is. The kids, I'm proud of the kids nonetheless. They played good. The one team at the end of day one was in 15th place. They ended up finishing 18th overall, and there's 32 teams for the Fortnite tournament. So it's kind of like FNCS. The other team was actually in second place after day one. And day two, they had some mental breakdowns as a team. It happens. Uh, they dropped to fifth place. So only the top three, of course, top three get awards and all that. But they
Mhm.
were only like 12 points out of third place. So it's just kind of like one of those things where if one of those games they had was just like two placements higher, maybe three, they would be they'd be in the top three right now.
Mhm.
Put it that way. But nonetheless, still proud of all of them for what they did. Seasons, the qualifiers to get to NAF. Overall, they did a good job down there. Um, we stayed. I think we had our location, the Hanover location, had let's see, two Fortnite teams, an Apex team, and a Rocket League team. The Apex team kind of finished in the middle of the pack, and the Rocket League team did really well. They won their first, and so for Rocket League, it's double elimination,
Okay.
kind of like that. So they won their first game. They went and played the number one seed in the second round. They lost, so they went to the losers bracket. And they won all the way through the losers bracket to come back and played for the championship. They lost to the number one seed. They played the number one seed again. Was the best 4 out of 7. They lost 4 games to 2, but they came in second place. So they did a really good job. They had a lot of tough battles getting back into the winners bracket to play for the championship. So they did good. Um, but yeah, it was another fun year down there. Hot as hell down there. The humidity was ridiculous down there. That was the worst thing. I could take the heat because it's hot here. Like right now, it's going to be over 100 today, and that's without the heat index. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to be over 100 as well without the heat index.
Don't worry,
But like,
with the heat index, it's going to be 150,000.
yeah, pretty much. But the problem is like I don't mind if it's hot. like the humidity is where when that starts getting hot, that's what sucks. But humidity was
Yeah.
shitty in Florida, of course. But no, the overall the
It's humid in
esports,
Florida?
yeah, I know. Overall, uh, um, the esports tournament went well. I can't complain. Now, for me, personally, the Hanover location is closing. They're not renewing their lease with the XP League, so some of the kids are going to find. I've already talked to other locations. They're going to find other teams to play with. I'm going to try to take a break a little bit and try to find some other ways to improve my esports coaching skills before I jump back into coaching. So I've already explored those options and looking for something in regards to that. But that's what I'm going to do personally. Um, Nico's team really didn't. His Overwatch team didn't go, but they kind of did like a Marvel Rivals is a new game that's been pretty popular, and we're trying to
Hmm.
get it. We're trying to get it in XP League, but here's the issue. It's more or less, yes, what is exactly right? I heard him. Um, the issue is that Marvel Rivals is from is created by a Chinese-based video game company.
He's playing Fortnite right now.
Gotcha. That understand.
I was gonna say, I was
I
gonna say,
understand that then.
I was gonna
So
say, we could hear that so audibly, and Joe just reacted and
What?
keep going.
exactly. Um, so since Marvel Rivals is
Oh, you're
owned
playing Rocket League?
is
No, Rocket League.
was created by a Chinese company in association with Marvel. There's a lot of legal NDA and other stuff that goes into it. So we're working on it from what I was told.
NDA.
But what we can do for Marvel Rivals right now, we can't officially say, hey, we do Marvel Rivals competitively, but we can create a Marvel Rivals club. So they have a
Right.
Marvel Rivals club going on, and Nico's Marvel Rivals team is kind of one of the top two teams in the club league right now. They're
Hmm.
currently 7-1. Well, I'm sorry, 7-2. They just lost the other day. But yeah, they're like in second place. They're 7-2. I think the first place team is like 9-1. But they have a really good team. So if we can get that going, that'd be great. But Marvel Rivals is also doing its own, just had like a big tournament in China, which is, you know, not to boast them, but it's very interesting for them to have such a big tournament in China for that game. But they are doing like rank stuff within the game. So I believe what one of the coaches wants to do is kind of like put them in a more like online tournament per se for that stuff. But we'll see. Hey, esports is a big thing. If I had the money, I'd create my own franchise in the XP League and kind of do that thing. But I don't have the funds or the capital to do so. But it is what it is. But other than that, overall, esports went great. It was a fun time. But one thing that we did do is we did venture to the new Universal Studios Park, Epic Universe,
Oh, nice.
which I will say this.
So was it epic?
It
It
was
was
epic.
it was epically fun.
Was it an epic of epic epicness?
No.
Oh,
Um, I will say this. Out of the park, I will give it a 7.5 out of 10. Um, I do know what I've read is where Super Mario World is in the back is Donkey Kong World, and it's kind of small. They need to make Donkey Kong give it a. There's a ride back there. There's a food stand. There's a meet and greet with Donkey Kong, and there's another stand that sells items, like t-shirts and stuff. That's really it. And there's things you go around with the bands that you could do to get coins and all that stuff, which that is really fun too, by the way. But there's supposed to be like there's a section they're supposed to be adding on. Supposedly it was supposed to be a Zelda world, but now it's might be something else. But I did get my Donkey Kong cup. Yeah, baby. I love my Donkey Kong cup. It's awesome.
Your your your
Um,
your Dekong cup.
yes,
Dekong.
the Kong.
Or Decup.
So
It's
yeah, but
Decup.
did you get your Galactus popcorn bucket?
no,
Did
nope,
you
nope.
see that thing?
Yes, I did. I saw it.
Okay.
So first off, the park is cool. Overall, it's nice. the whole middle of the park is like the celestial thing. They have the roller coaster, which it's a dual roller coasters, which they race. That's cool. Yeah, the little celestial water fountain. They have other stuff. We ate at a restaurant. Some of the restaurants we wanted to go to were packed. Like some of the restaurants we wanted to go to eat, like the one in Mario World, it was like an hour and a half wait to get in. I wasn't standing in the scorching sun to wait to eat. So we went to
Why
this one,
not?
went to this other place. It was like a tavern that sold like Southern food, which we're like, yeah, we'll just do that. So that was fun. We did get the bands. I got Diddy Kong Band right here for Super Mario World. And guess what?
It's a
Kids
slap
who
bracelet. I can tell. Oh, you turned off your mic when you did that.
I turned it off. I tapped it. Slap bracelet. Wait, it didn't go all the way around. God damn it. These fucking things.
He's too old to
Boom.
use a slap bracelet, Pat.
There we go. I got it. I got it. Um, no,
So
so
funny
they
considering that when I was a kid, they were all concerned about slap bracelets, and they actually banned them from my school because they were afraid that they were going to slice open kids' wrists. I shit you
yeah,
not.
so
Yes.
so stupid. So the bands are 45 bucks a piece. Um, so not too pricey, but so you pair them with you got to down a lot of the things. And this is, I've never been to a Universal Park ever. So this is my first time. So everything now through the Universal, is download the Universal app and everything's on there. So we downloaded the app and then we scanned the barcode in the back, the QR code in the back of the watch, the bands, and you create your own little profile. I got that's Diddy Kong. Nico got Mario Brothers, and Tammy got Toadstool band. And you create your little avatar, your background. And it's funny, you go up in Donkey Kong, there's like a circle with DK, and it's kind of hard to see them, but you put your band up to it and it lights up and it gives you coins and all kinds of stuff. And in the Mario world, what you see is what you get. You literally go up underneath it and you punch it. There's kids all over the place. It definitely gets a little bit crowded, and you feel like there's like nowhere to move. And there's adults rocking the bands and they're going up there punching shit too. So don't, we weren't the only adults doing it. So it's fun. And there's certain things like, they have a section where they have four four boxes and it's digital and it resets and then it starts spinning and you go underneath it and you have to punch it and try to match all of them up. And I got like two fire flowers and two mushrooms, and you get coins from that stuff and all that jazz. So it's fun. There's all types of things you can do. There's interactive things to do to get coins. And there's one part of the park where you have to get three keys to go face Bowser.
Mm.
So unless you get those three keys within the world, you're not allowed to go in there. Um, we didn't go on the little ride, the Yoshi ride, because that was like a 2 hour wait. We did go on the Diddy Kong ride, I'm not Diddy Kong, the Donkey Kong ride. That was an hour and a half wait, but that was the first ride we hit. And 3/4 of the fucking way in, the ride got shut down for an issue. So
Oh.
that was another 40-minute wait for the ride to come back on. You get on the ride. I will say the ride, I give it a 6 out of 10. It's a cool ride, but it's very jerky. It jerks you around the way the roller coaster works.
No,
Um,
no.
um,
Pat,
yes,
nice little thing. No, no, no.
yeah. It's not a good hand jerk either. It's a bad jerk. Um, so the coolest ride is so overall, Mario Brothers is cool. It's fun. It really is. Um, it's a good time. It's just it gets overwhelming with all the kids, which is really that's the only that and How to Train Your Dragon are really the only two sections for kids per se. I didn't go into How to Train Your Dragon. I wish we did, but just for how long we stayed in Mario Brothers, we ate. We then went over to Harry Potter World, which is really cool because the theme in there is France. Um, that was awesome. The ride in there is really awesome as well. We each got a wand. And something that the lady told us is that each Universal Park has a specific wand you can only get at that park. So the wand that this one is the Phoenix wand, which is the one I actually got. So you can only get that at Epic Universe. She's like, if you go to the other two, you will not find this wand there. There's also other wands that they sell in triangle boxes. Those are exclusive to the parks. So you can't go on Universal's universal.com or whatever, and buy Harry Potter wands on the website and get the ones in the triangle box, is what she said. So they're exclusive to the parks, and then all the other
Because the one in
wands that are,
Florida is called Epic Universe, right? That's the
well,
name of it.
it's Universal Park, but this new theme park is called Epic Universe.
Oh, okay. So
It's the fourth
within,
park. So it's that's Epic Universe, and then was it Universal Studios, and then there's another Universal Park. Because there's three theme parks now
but they're
and
all in
one
the
water
same
park.
grounds, kind of like
Yes.
Disney is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you confused me when you said this is the fourth park. I'm like, isn't this the third?
Well, the
But you
water
were
park
counting
in
you were
Volcano
counting
Bay.
yeah, I was gonna say you were counting the water park. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've never been over to Universal at all, and that probably is
Because
instead of going to Disney again, I think we might end up going to Universal
so
the next
because
time we go down.
it's Universal Studios. That's
yes,
like the original.
yes,
Right,
There's
with the Hulk ride and
Islands of
everything.
Adventure. Then
yes,
Volcano Bay is the water park, and now Epic Universe.
yeah. So the other two each have their own specific themed Harry Potter world. So each one's different.
Hmm.
So this was the Epic Universe has the Paris version. The other one has like something dragon where they have a big dragon, and then the original Universal Studios has another part of Harry Potter themed. So each one's a different specific theme from the movies. Um, so it was interesting. So it was kind of a cool fact. And all the wands will work between all three theme parks when you go there to do the interactive stuff. They all work, of course. But the only ones you're supposed to be able to get online are just the normal ones in the rectangular box and all the accessories. So it's cool that they kind of have some exclusive that you can only get at the park. Um, the other park, the other theme there is Dark Universe. Dark Universe is kind of small. Um, they
See,
have
that would be the one I would be most interested in personally because
um
I love the old Universal monster movies.
yes, yes. So they have, it's themed out. It's really cool. Cool restaurant, cool shops in there. Um, there's two main rides. Ministry of Darkness is an interactive ride. It kind of puts you on your back, goes forward. Um, if you saw my little video on that, it's interactive when you go through the wait line. And really that was the shortest ride. It was only 15 minutes to get on that ride. So you go through all this stuff, and there's like a story. It's an interactive ride. It's really cool. And next to it, there's like this weird, like figure eight roller coaster. That the roller coaster, the seats you're in spin around as you're going around the roller coaster track. That's an interesting ride.
Is that the Curse of the Werewolf track?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that one. That's an interesting ride as well. It's just Dark Universe seemed a bit on the smaller side in regards to that. Um,
I love this. Notable dining options include Das Steakhouse, spelled Stake
yeah.
Jaus, a vampire-themed steakhouse that features no garlic.
No. They have some cool drinks though there too. Yeah, they have some cool alcoholic drinks and stuff like that. Cool place though.
Yeah.
Um,
See, this just interrupt. I mean, this is like getting so depressing for me because I haven't been to Disney World in 8 years now. And there's been a lot that's changed since then. I mean, obviously, none of the Star Wars stuff was there when I was last there. And now they're doing so much more new stuff. Like they just rethemed Splash Mountain, and now, of course, they're building new stuff in the Magic Kingdom. They're taking away some of the old favorites like the Riverboat and Tom Sawyer Island. But Disney also has like expansion plans that are going to take place apparently over like next 20 years, which includes possibly building a fifth theme park
yeah,
and
I've
like a
heard that.
couple more and like another water park and some other stuff.
Did you go on Stardust Racer?
How the fuck would you ever be able to? Let's say you wanted to go to both Disney and Universal. How the fuck would you ever?
You can't, you have to choose one or the other.
Yeah, but it's not.
Or if you're
And it's
staying
not.
or
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
like
staying at one, you can do one park from the other, but you can't immerse yourself fully. You'll be there
yeah,
for 2 weeks
yeah. It's like I remember years ago saying, "Oh, I
and pay
want to
five
go.
thousand dollars.
I want to go on a 2 week vacation, go to Disney and Universal, and be able to do everything I want to do." I don't even know if you'd be able to do that. First of all, like leaving aside the cost factor, first and foremost.
You're paying at least $5,000 at
Oh, you'd be
least.
paying more than
Yeah,
that,
how much was just
but
a ticket to get into
So
everything?
just a ticket for Universal Epic Universe for a ticket of three was $520
Damn.
single day.
single day.
I've heard people bitching about Disney World's like tickets topping $100. I'm like, that's more than $100 right there, obviously. Shit,
Well,
Yeah, there was
Disney's are
it's closer to 200 than
160 something a
100.
ticket now for a
and
single
and
day.
and think about that. The ticket itself was like I think 120 some dollars a piece. But then you got to think, you got to put the taxes on top of that, and it topped over $500. I think it close to
Yeah.
520. I think it
Yeah,
might have been like
Disney's
518, but still, that's expensive considering the fact that.
All that ticket guarantees you to do, like you just said, is that you're going to stand in line for a long time.
And the other thing, so the last park that was there was How to Train Your Dragon. We really didn't go in there. I think we should have because there is a roller coaster I wanted to go on, but because of how much time we spent at all the others and the time we spent to get on rides, we got there when the park opened at 10 and we left at 6:30. And the park's only open till 9.
The park only opened at 10.
The park is open 10 to 9. That's the hours of the park.
hmm Yeah,
Damn.
Disney
You,
doesn't
you
open any
think you,
earlier
you
than
think it
9.
would open earlier than 10?
No.
Yeah, Disney's the same way.
I
They open Disney's open later because they do the fireworks and stuff like that every night.
Well, Disney, it depends too. Like if you're staying at a Disney resort, I think they still do like the extra magic hours thing. But I
Yeah,
thought
they do.
I thought their parks still opened at 9 though. But geez, I don't know. It's
I'm pretty
I
sure
haven't
they're
really I
10.
haven't really looked at the hours kind of stuff in a long time.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure they changed their hours to a 10 o'clock open too. So,
Yeah,
see, this,
so
this is the problem too. It's like there's all this stuff, and yet it seems like wait times are still so fucking exorbitant, and you have to
they are.
pre-plan so much stuff at Disney, like with the
oh yeah,
whatever the fuck they call the system now.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
have to if you want to do a lot in any of those big theme parks like that, you have to get the fast pass, and I think you have to pay extra now for it
oh yeah,
instead
and
of
it's
being
not
free.
the you fast pass has gotten more expensive. So yeah, so one of the things Epic Universe, and I'm not sure if so Epic Universe opens at 10. The other two, Island of Adventure and Universal Studios, opens at 9, and Volcano Bay opens at 9. But Universal Studios is 9 to 9. Adventure Islands of Adventure is 9 to 10, and then Epic is, well, it was 9 o'clock when it was 10 to 9 for their day, but they say 10 to 10, but it wasn't 10 to 10 that day. But anywho, parking's $32, whatever, just like any other fucking place. Um, How to Train Your Dragon, there was a roller coaster I wanted to go on, but we were just so tired at that point. Like we're just fucking hot, tired. At the end, we just went to one of we went to the Super Mario Brothers gift shop store. It's where I got my Donkey Kong cup. I got a Donkey Kong t-shirt. Nico got a couple things. Tim got a couple things, at the two gift shops and stuff like that. So, and then it was just like time to fucking go. It was tired. It was definitely tiresome. And the crazy part is that SeaWorld is also expensive, but you can get good deals on tickets for SeaWorld. I think SeaWorld's tickets are like in the 90s right now for a day, or over a little over 100, I don't remember. But I got tickets through one of those work sites, one of our works like discount sites. They had a special for like during 4th of July weekend. So I got tickets for $49. They had a special $49 a ticket for SeaWorld.
There you go.
So I paid like $150 for 3 tickets for SeaWorld, and we went on all the rides. The rides weren't like the longest wait time I think it was like 45 minutes for one of the rides at SeaWorld. But for the most part, we got on every single ride we wanted to get on.
Yeah,
So,
and SeaWorld doesn't have a ton of rides, but the rides that
uh,
they have, I think, are pretty decent.
yeah, I think they just added their fifth or sixth roller coaster last year.
Did you do the Kraken? Ride
Yeah,
the Kraken.
yeah,
Did you
yeah,
release the Kraken?
yep. Rode on that one.
That was
One of
later
the
in the night.
one of the things SeaWorld does, and they didn't do this last year because I don't remember. You know how all the theme parks have your souvenir cups,
hmm
the standard. Well, SeaWorld does is all their SeaWorld branded cups doesn't have to be the normal souvenir cup. It could be all their branded cups. Like they have a big 32-ounce bottle that's the one I bought. Any of them that you buy are eligible for the free drink for that day or the discounted refills for the whole season.
Nice.
So you don't have to
So you
get
just have to
those.
buy one of their cups and you're good.
Yeah. So I got like this big 32-ounce thing, and where you unscrew it, you pop up and it has a straw, but when you unscrew the lid, it has like one of those freezer things on there. So you can stick it in the freezer and then put it in the cup and it keeps your drink cold. So I got one of them. Um,
That's Joe's special booze bottle at the Super Bowl.
yeah. Shh, don't tell anybody, brother. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell anybody. I didn't do nothing. Um, but yeah, I thought that was a cool feature. Instead of getting the standard cup with the straw, you can get something more. You get like get a 32 ouncer that's going to last you longer than that, that normal souvenir cup. But yeah, SeaWorld was fun. We had fun time there. We were able to see, like this year there was like no rain that day, so we were able to see like the whales and the dolphin show, and we were able to do more stuff. And we were there for probably like 7.5 hours at SeaWorld too. So we had a good time. We made the most out of it. We went to Disney Springs on that Friday, and all the construction they had at Disney Springs, even some of it from last year, is all complete. They moved they the Star Wars Outpost, whatever it's called, Jedi Outpost. It was on one side of the park of that shopping, and they moved it to the other side where the AMC theater is. So they have like a Star Wars Jedi Outpost, and then they had the Marvel store right next to it. Um, got me a Kyber crystal. I got Ray's Kyber crystal. I just wanted something different. The yellow one. Nico got a Mace Windu's purple Kyber crystal. Um, so they had some cool stuff in there. They actually had Ezra's Star Wars hilt on sale for $99. I was tempted to buy it. Um, but the other half was too close for me to sneak that one in as a purchase. So I just let it go. And of course, we went to the Lego store and they got Lego stuff because those Lego stores have some hard to
Yeah, they had.
find Lego items. So, they
Was
went
there a
in
line when you went to the Lego store?
always,
Yeah, see, we
always. Yep.
got Lucas and I got very lucky. We went up to the Lego store. We must just hit it at the right time because we went up and there was no line. I was like, "This is sweet." I
Last year
can't see
we,
waiting in a line for a store. I was
I
like, "No,
know.
oh, I won't do it."
Last year we waited 20 minutes to get in. This year we waited like 5. Like we
Yeah,
got
that's
up
not bad.
there, we got in. So, um, yeah, we did, because Friday we went to Disney Springs and we went to the AMC theater there to go see Superman. Um, different, different setup for that AMC theater. It's really interesting, but nice theater overall. But we went to the movies and then we shopped around for a while. We went to the Rainforest Cafe for lunch, or a late lunch, I should say. We went there to eat, which was I haven't been to a Rainforest Cafe since, last time we were in Florida when we went to Disney World when Nico was like 6. We ate at the other Rainforest Cafe at the Disney park over there. The Wilderness Disney Park. I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's where we ate at the Rainforest Cafe too. Was in Animal Kingdom.
yeah, so that's the last time I was at
It made
Animal Kingdom.
sense.
Like pretty much 11 years ago was when it was the last time I ate at Rainforest. So it was nice. Her and Nico got like the souvenir cups with their fancy drinks that they got. But yeah, we went there and then we headed off to Full Sail University because it was like check-in time for coaches and players, and they had like festivities going on for the kids between 4 and 8 last for that Friday night. So yeah, I mean, overall, the place we rented on Verbo was really nice. It was in a gated community by a golf course, but it was kind of like you could tell it was an older section because it was like an older section and like a brand new section. We were in the older section, but the place was super clean, nice, easy to get to, and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, overall was we had a good time in Florida.
Nice.
I just realized I don't want to be driving that long anymore.
Yeah.
I like the drive down there took us 8 hours and 40 minutes with 2 stops. On the way home, we ran into horrendous thunderstorms on the highway in South Carolina, where the windshield wipers were on full blast. I'm driving 25 miles an hour, can barely see in front of me. That added like an hour and a half delay. Then when we got to North Carolina, they were doing more road construction. So one lane shit. So added another hour and a half. So technically we were supposed to get home like between like 6:20 and 6:40. We didn't walk in the door until like almost 10 o'clock, put it that way.
Nice.
But we hit two Buc-ee's. We hit Daytona Beach Buc-ee's, and then we hit the South Carolina Florence Buc-ee's. So I got two Buc-ee's stops out of that. So that was cool. Got me some good Buc-ee's food and some stuff there. So that was worth it. Can't wait for a Buc-ee's to come to North Carolina. But no, overall, Florida was good. It was good. Oh, I will tell you this. We can segue into this if you so choose to. So, me and Pat, I believe, had talked. I think it was you and me, Pat. We talked about um, Jeremy. I apologize because I don't remember if you were on when me and Pat talked about this. Talking about fast food chains and like there's like the specialty ones. Like
Hmm.
there's a specialty one in Virginia for like Chick-fil-A. So in Orlando, there's a three-story McDonald's
Hmm.
where they make pasta and pizza and all that stuff.
We saw that one.
So we
We almost went in.
ventured over to that one. So it's McDonald's, and then across the street is what? A Perkins. And I was like, damn, I want some potato pancakes right now and some applesauce. But the thing I didn't know, and I knew he had a store in Orlando, but I didn't know where it was. McDonald's, Perkins, Hogan's wrestling shop was right there next to the Perkins. And I was like, oh, that's where his shop is. And I took a couple, pictures of it and whatnot. But it was
Yeah.
yeah, quite interesting. I'm going to see one thing and I found the old there's a bunch of Perkins in Florida, bro. There is a bunch of them. I was like, damn, they love their Perkins
Yeah.
down here. It's still open. I was like,
Well, yeah. It's yeah. As far as like Hulk Hogan goes, like I don't have any. The guy was not a good person. He said some terrible things in that and had some terrible takes in life. But I don't. I'm not gonna condemn a dead man. Like that just seems kind of pointless. Like
which there's
be
a lot of
angry.
people doing right now,
Right? No,
unfortunately.
there is. There's a lot of people angry at a dead man. I'm glad he's dead. Blah, blah, blah. There was somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook. Like I really want to stop being friends with them because anytime something happens like in the political world or somebody that voiced a political opinion, and no, it's not you, Darth Pat. Um, they have
You're cut
something,
off.
and it's opposite their opinion. Like they just want to condemn that person, and they want to be hateful towards that person. It's like, how does that solve anything? That solves nothing. Being hateful towards the other side just because you don't agree with their opinion. Like you're allowed to have different opinions. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, he's getting drugged through the mud for dying, and it's like that's just as a society that's a terrible thing. Like I don't like the kind of person that he ended up being, but the fact that he passed away is an unfortunate thing for the world of wrestling. Not for the world itself, but for the world of wrestling because what he was able to do and really help save wrestling at a time period where wrestling was not very well watched. It didn't make a lot of money. Everything that could go wrong with an industry was going wrong kind of in that period of time. So you give credit to where credit's due, and you don't have to like the person for who they were and what they did, but his accomplishments within the wrestling world are really something to be, you know, viewed as something good
Yeah,
that
I
he
mean,
did.
is the Hulk Hogan compared to Terry Bollea's, you got to separate both of them. Its contributions as Hulk Hogan are great, and there's a lot that goes into his contributions to the pro wrestling world in general and what he did from start to finish. But yeah, the Terry Bollea side, you know, even it was at his lowest point in his life. Yeah, he said some things that The racial comments, not good. And I don't think I seeing some of the people that have posted several things on social media since he passed, there's still people who don't, when I get it, don't like his apology to the group that he did when he was let back into WWE.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people still say, it's kind of like, hey, don't get caught and you'll be okay, is how they felt. Um,
Yeah, that pissed off a lot of the African American wrestlers.
yes,
Like Titus O'Neil, I know, has made comments about it
yes.
publicly, which was ironic because then they were standing next to each other in those fucking pirate outfits at WrestleMania that year.
Yeah, and speaking of him, it was
And like the
interesting.
New Day guys were supposedly kept him at like an arm's length for like
Yeah,
the times that they had to like be around him.
yeah. I mean, and granted, 100% understand if they didn't like or buy into his apology, that's fine. I'm not saying they're wrong for that at all. Titus O'Neil was on one of the local Florida stations that was posted for the news, and he didn't say anything negative about Hogan. He's like, our differences of opinion outside the professional wrestling world, in regards to that. Some people kind of slam Titus O'Neil for being negative towards Hogan in the past, but yet you see pictures of Titus O'Neil taking selfies with Hogan with kids or his kids. I'm not sure if they were his kids, but with kids and himself. So it's like you're mad at the guy, but it's okay to take a selfie with him. Like people are kind of getting on Titus O'Neil about that. And I'm like, listen, at some point, maybe he and Hogan had a personal conversation because it seems like once, here's another aspect. I'm not a big fan. Like for the religious people, do your thing. Um, there are a lot of people who have bad lives who say they found God in their life. They welcome God into their life to change things around. It's not that I don't believe it, but sometimes I feel like some use God as a scapegoat to fix their image in the celebrity
Hmm.
world, right? So I'm not saying I don't believe Hogan in regards to that aspect, because his inner circle of friends say he really did, and he reached out to certain people to apologize for his racial remarks. Like I know he did that to Devon.
Yeah, and
Um,
Devon released a statement about that. Well, supposedly he released a statement about that, and people are
yeah,
hating on Devon now, like
yeah,
you're a traitor, Devon. It's like, dude,
yeah,
like what's
Devon,
wrong with you people?
yeah,
Who
and
cares?
I haven't really seen what Booker T is done. I see his brother posted something. Devon made his remarks. There's certain people that he's reached out to. He knows that are of African American black wrestlers that I know he's reached out to personally from his inner circle that are reliable. So listen, I know Mark Henry was still on the fence. He was kind of forgiving, but he tried to reach out to Hogan to do some HBC school stuff. And Hogan kind of didn't really want to do that. So
Yeah.
that kind of pissed
See,
Mark Henry off, which, I'm fully support. Mark Henry, I understand him being mad at Hogan for not wanting to do that. And I don't know what Hogan's reasonings is, health reasons, whatever the case may be. Don't know. But um listen, at the end of the day, he had once that shit happened
I
is
doubt Hogan turned any of those things that Mark Henry was trying to get him to do for health reasons.
probably not, but you never know. I don't know.
I'm fairly confident saying that Hulk Hogan would have
Mhm.
turned down doing those things for um gotta make the joke now. That doesn't work for me, brother reasons.
At the end of the day, it wouldn't have
I
hurt Hogan to do it though. So that's the weird thing.
I'm not gonna get paid for doing that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I see what you're saying
yeah. Hogan definitely was doing anything he was doing at any point in time that was a public thing was definitely,
about the money.
yeah, about the money.
All about making money. I mean, that
But
was
when you
drilled
grow up in an
into
industry
them.
like that, that's kind of how your mindset gets
Yeah.
whacked around,
Yeah.
gets warped.
And
I mean,
especially for those guys back then, Flair's the other epitome of playing into his gimmick in real life. Hogan did that not as hardcore as Ric Flair did, but
well,
pretty far into it.
listening to this Cornette clip that he posted, the Cornette page posted to YouTube overnight. they talked briefly about the parallels between Hogan, Flair, and Vince, all becoming disgraced somewhat in later years for different reasons and
Yeah.
to differing degrees. And Cornette was saying, like, yeah, if you rewind the clock back to the 80s and you said that it's going to come a time where nobody's going to think well of these three guys, I would have said you were an idiot. You know, it's the thing with me.
That business changes people in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, this is the thing. So the YouTube channel Wrestling with Regret did a brief, it was like 20 minutes long or so, I think, Hogan retrospective video where they talked about the good and the bad.
Hmm.
And I just posted a comment that said, this is what I said, and this kind of really sums up what my feelings really are. I was a huge Hulkamaniac back in the day. I remember what it was like to cheer for him, whether it was he was red and yellow good guy or NWO bad guy. But when the racism came out, something finally clicked in me. I realized I just couldn't support him. Sure, I'd still get a little excited when he returned, but it just kept weighing on me. When he made his appearance at WrestleMania 35, I think I was one of the few people in the stadium who didn't stand up and cheer, at least in my immediate section. It just continued to go downhill since then, whether it was the lying or the politics or the lying. I had to say lying twice for emphasis. So my feelings are complicated. I love the character, but the man is pretty hard to like. I'm sorry he's gone, and I'll try to remember the good things, but it's going to be hard. And one guy replied to my comment there where you said, well, actually his comment's not showing up anymore, but he told me to get over it, and it's like, who cares what he was like outside the ring? You know, inside the ring he was magical. And I just said, well, you know, it's nice you can disassociate like that. I just can't. I wish I could, but I can't. You know, it's like, it's why I haven't watched any Woody Allen movies in a long time. And told like my dad last week, I think whenever I get those out of boxes again, I might just go get rid of those movies. And why I'm probably not going to watch any of his new movies. But it's also why, like, when I listen to Michael Jackson, I'm listening to it saying, yeah, I really like this song, but oh my God, it's Michael Jackson, you know, or when I'm watching a movie with OJ Simpson, it's like, you know, OJ is really funny in this scene, but he's OJ.
Yeah, it's trying to it's some people it's challenging to separate
It's
the
not always
celebrity to the real person.
it's not always possible to separate the art from the artist. And Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, he could have said whatever he wanted to say in that Gawker trial. And you know, his videotape testimony is there in that documentary that I think might still be on Netflix about how Gawker was destroyed by that, and how Hogan was essentially a useful idiot for a vengeful tech billionaire. Um, and I lost my train of thought now. God damn it. Yeah, no. Hogan could say what he wanted to say, saying that about like he was saying that as Hulk Hogan, the character, but I'm Terry Bollea, the man. It's like blah blah blah. But you're suing because of something that Hulk Hogan said, and you're trying to say you're somebody different. You know, that was like, but he made it impossible to separate the two.
Right, because you never knew if he was being Terry Bollea or if he was being Hulk Hogan.
When did you stop being Hulk,
Yeah.
Nick? You did the reality show with your family. You know, and this is something that people said about Flair. Flair's forgotten who he ever was, and like he's always like living the gimmick, and that's why Flair's gotten into trouble and shit. And I'm not even gonna touch on the Vince shit right now about that, but um, this was the other thing then. So another comment on that video. Guy quoted what the guy in the Wrestling with Regret video, his name's Brian Zane, said. He had a chance to make amends and he had a chance to really put his best foot forward. And for whatever reason, perhaps his ego or what have you, he just didn't want to do that. Like you mentioned the Mark Henry stuff. And he simply couldn't say that what he did was wrong, which is abundantly clear because, and I'm not going to read through this whole string, obviously. One guy, a couple of people were like, make amends. This one guy replied, you know, make amends for what? And one guy replied to him saying, quit being purposefully obtuse and engaging in bad faith. And I said to that guy, if you have to ask that question, you don't want to hear the answer.
Yeah, correct.
Because you know what he said, the racist shit that he said. And so if you don't want to, so if you're asking what does he have to make amends for, you're basically saying I'm okay with his racism. If
Pretty
you
much.
are, fine. I'm gonna call you a racist too then. And you're gonna have to fucking deal with that. And if you don't like that, tough shit. Get over it. You know? But seriously, if you're asking that question, then you just don't want to hear it's because he's a racist. Because maybe you loved him and you were a big fan of his, and that's fine. But you can't deny what he did. And last year, he's out there campaigning for Trump, and he's at something, and he makes fun of Kamala Harris, talking about how Kamala has Indian descent. Then
Oh
he starts
yeah, the
going,
wrong Indian descent.
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
how?
yeah.
Not that Indian, motherfucker!
Yeah, wrong one, buddy. Yeah.
Like
There
he
was things
does.
he did and said as time went on, as he got older, that, he put his foot in his mouth multiple times in regards to certain things like that.
If you're going to go out somewhere publicly and go how talking about Kamala Harris using that very old, horrible red Indian stereotype, I'm supposed to believe you're not racist?
Very true.
And like you said, he started hiding behind religious shit. Like he was going on like the fucking 700 Club. I remember about a year or so ago, Cornette playing clips of him and going on that, and this guy licking his balls on the thing because he had turned to Jesus. And it's just like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't know if he. I think going to God helped him to a certain extent. I'm not. I don't know if he fully was hiding behind it. I don't want to say that
Well,
specifically, but there are people that come on and said that, like, he really embraced God, him and his wife Sky, and all that stuff, and a lot of
well,
other things to be on that path to do better as a person,
well,
which which I do believe those specific people, because they are valid
look,
sources and legitimate
I
sources.
know people who are religious and they're consistent in their religious beliefs and they're sincere in their religious beliefs. I've seen people who have turned to God and really apparently have done it and it's made them a better person, like Lex Luger, just as an example.
Yeah, Lex,
Legitimately
Sting,
he seems to have
too.
really legitimately changed in that respect. But then there's also Ted DiBiase, who's been all about the religious shit, and he's been embroiled in that Mississippi welfare fund scandal. So,
Correct, correct.
um, but if you turn to God so much, what was the problem with him and his daughter?
So from what
He apparently
she,
wasn't willing to forgive and forget with her. His own daughter. His daughter gave birth to twins, almost died in the delivery, from what the reports were. Her husband supposedly tried to contact him after she had given birth, tried to get them back together, tried to say, come see your grandkids. And Hogan said no. He still wouldn't
I forget what happened between
go
him and
there.
his daughter.
it's
The
not
daughter
just,
basically said "fuck you" to him and Linda.
yeah, both of them, not
She
just,
basically said that they abused her. I think she said physically and mentally. I think she felt that they exploited her with the reality show, and I think she got pissed off then that when they divorced, he started going at with one of her friends,
Yeah, I remember that.
and
Uh,
and Linda started dating a guy younger than her, younger
yeah,
than Brooke.
yeah,
So I think he realized that his parents were kind of disgusting people. And I think
yeah.
she wanted nothing more to do with them.
She made some tweets about, the lifestyle that they were living, and the group of people they were surrounded with or whatever at those times. This is years ago. Now she
yeah.
just was tired of that, and she wanted to separate herself from there and the limelight and just kind of live her own life. She didn't want to be a part of the celebrity aspect of either one of them, and just kind of wanted to do her own thing.
Yeah.
And if you read between the lines, it's, pretty much, I wanted to get away from all the toxic and negativity and just live my own life and be my own person with, at the time, her fiance or whatever the case may be, her boyfriend. I don't think they were married
Well, I'm
yet,
sure
but
neither of their parents dealt with ever got the proper help either. It doesn't I mean, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, but ever got the proper help for when their son passed too. So Didn't her son pass? Didn't he die in
No,
a?
he got
Oh, that's right.
into
He
a
killed
car
somebody.
accident which left a friend of his as a
Right. That's
vegetable.
right. That's
Yes.
right. It wasn't him that got injured. It was his friend that
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
and
almost
then
died.
and then their son went to jail, and then there
Sorry.
was like leaked prison recordings that came out where Linda said some shit which was perceived as insensitive, but Hogan then went and said, "Hold my real American beer, brother," and was like leaked audio with Nick talking about it where he seemed to one blame the kid who was now a vegetable for what happened, and two double down on the racism by saying something about watch us get reincarnated as black guys or something like that as punishment.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. And this one, and I've stopped engaging with people on this now because again, it's like my own feelings are complicated enough on it. I am sad that he's gone. I'm sad that he's not the person that he always portrayed. The trains say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself. That was obviously never who he was. And again, we haven't even gotten into any of the behind the scenes wrestling shit, like ratting out on Ventura for trying to unionize for all that doesn't work for me, brother. I'm not going to put this guy over. That's petty compared to the person that he turned out to be.
Right.
And so, but it's like I'm not going to go engaging with people because it's not going to lead anywhere. People are going to dig in their heels on this shit, especially in the internet, because nobody wants to actually have a sincere, meaningful, respectful conversation with somebody over the internet because that's not the way the internet works. You can say shit to people over the internet, you're not going to say to somebody face to face, for Christ's sake.
Oh yeah.
So people are just going to dig in their heels. And if people are going to be all, oh, Hogan was the greatest, he was the best ever, I won't hear a word against him, you're not going to get anywhere with them. You're not going to get the person to acknowledge, yeah, his racism was bad. What he did to his daughter was bad. The way he treated other people's bad. Like if I went back to that thread, there was all these people saying Hogan has nothing to apologize for, blah 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 blah. It's like, all right, fine. If you feel that way, you can feel that way. I don't care. I also don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm sorry. It's not about. This isn't about having a back and a forth. Okay. I'm not going to change your I'm not going to change your opinion of him. You're not going to change my opinion of him. So what are we doing? We're just going rah, 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 back and forth. Fucking stop. I mean, so I saw the tribute they did to him on SmackDown because they loaded it to the YouTube page.
Yeah. It
It
was
it,
fine.
it, it was nice. It was respectful. I still,
Yeah. I had no problems with it. They're going to do it. Like if
yeah, no, I have no problem with them doing the tribute. They have to do the tribute. You
yeah, of
can't
course.
not do a tribute to him. Um, I'm going to be. I honestly think if you go back and if you can still find them somewhere, the tribute videos they did for Eddie Guerrero, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes were kind of better, frankly. But that's
Okay.
just me. Just because it wasn't like somebody talking over, it was like they picked like a song and they played like music to it and they just let like the images speak for themselves or cut like snippets of promos. Like the Randy Savage one, they used the Coldplay song "The Scientist" in it,
Oh yeah, yeah, they did. Yeah.
which features the lines like nobody said it was easy. Oh, take me back to the start. And when you're selling, and I'm wearing my Macho Man shirt here today.
There you go.
And when you're talking about a guy who just passed and you're trying to celebrate his life, like those words cut so fucking deep. Because it's like, especially with Savage, because it wasn't just that he had passed, it was the fact that he never went back.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody else went back and Savage didn't for whatever reason. Whatever Vince's fucking issue was with him. Which
Those
is
two
why,
just couldn't come together on an agreement to come
well,
back.
again, it's why those Stephanie rumors are never going to go away.
I know.
Because people want to say, oh, well, Vince was just so pissed with the way he just abruptly left at the end of '94 and everything. And it's like, well, number one, Vince wasn't using him as an active wrestler anymore. And
He was on
Savage thought he could
commentary though,
wrestle.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just on commentary on Raw. And like Savage wanted to still wrestle. Vince didn't want him to wrestle except on like house shows. And Savage was taking it personally. And Savage proved he could still go in the ring. He didn't
Oh
have like
yeah, he did.
he didn't have a lot of great WCW matches, but he could still go, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was like, so Savage never came back. And so anybody who tried to say, well, Vince was just so pissy about the way he just up and left. But it's like, but everybody else left. Look at the way Nash and Hall left, and they came back.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, even to a certain extent, Luger did, and with the way he left. But it's like everybody who left came back except
Ultimate Warrior, and that was a big fiasco
and
with
they
a
yeah, and they
bad breakup
buried
between those two
Warrior with that
guys.
DVD, and then he still came back and they still brought him back, but they wouldn't ever bring back Savage. So it's like, yeah,
Did he really hit on Stephanie? Did he try and make a pass
it
at her?
wasn't about him hitting on Stephanie.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
anyway,
the
so
tribute was
so
the tribute
yeah,
was good last.
the tribute was
Was
good.
good.
And that's what the funny thing was, like TNA gave a tribute. He did obviously have his time in TNA, which most people deride, and I didn't really watch after like I think the first night that he came back. I think I realized right away this ain't gonna work. Um, New Japan gave a tribute to him. He worked for New Japan,
Yep.
in co-ops and stuff. But people were trying to make a big deal out of AEW not giving a tribute to him.
He never did work there. Who
No, he didn't,
cares?
but AEW has given tributes to all kinds of wrestlers who have died who never worked in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't
And there was the
understand why
thing,
they've done
somebody,
that. I think it's stupid.
well, somebody dug up a thing talking about how Hulk and Linda Hogan were on AEW's banned list, and like I guess Tony Khan had publicly said that. Why Linda
Yes, he
would ever
did.
need to be on a banned list, I have no fucking clue. But whatever. But then last night on Collision, I guess Tony Schiavone did say something,
Yeah, he did.
and I actually watched that video, and Schiavone was a little angry. If you watch it, Schiavone is politically conservative. I know because I know his wife is a raging right winger. Um,
So right wing, she's probably a fascist.
I know she's a Trump supporter as far as like from when I was still listening to
I don't know.
Schiavone's podcast when
We'll
he
have to
would
talk
briefly get it.
offline about something that I've been
Well, I'm
seeing.
just saying when Schiavone, I was still listening to Schiavone's podcast consistently. When he would talk about his wife, sometimes there would be little snippets dropped in. It was like, oh, okay, so she's a Trump supporter. Whatever. I mean, they live in
Okay.
Detroit. So anyway, but Schiavone seemed to be taking it almost kind of personally that people
that
were
Hogan died.
no,
Oh.
that people were criticizing him in death because he was basically taking from the aspect of like there's a grieving family.
Maybe
I
we
mean,
don't know.
death. Look, there is a time and a place to criticize somebody. Should you criticize somebody right when they die? Maybe not right when they die, but you know what? Death does not free somebody from criticism either.
No.
That's the way I look at it. And Shivani was almost implying that, like, if you've never lost a very close loved one, then you'll never have that perspective. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I mean, define close loved one too. Does it have to be an immediate family member? Does that exclude grandparents? Then well, yeah, no, I took my grandparents all dying very badly. So so I just found it funny. And then somebody was saying like on Shivani's Twitter page, um, somebody in a reply to something Shivani tweeted referred to Hogan as his close friend, and Shivani apparently corrected the person. He was a friend and a coworker.
Yeah, see, not a close friend, but a coworker or whatever.
As if to say we weren't close friends, which is fine, but then it makes it a little interesting if you're forcefully correcting somebody we weren't close, that you're taking so badly people criticizing him and dying. I don't know. But I will stick up for AEW here. AEW didn't have to give a tribute to him, like Jeremy said. So
No.
people were getting all pissed, like, why isn't AEW tweeting anything about him? Every other wrestling organization. They're not obligated to. Fuck off.
I mean, they're not obligated to, but then your point you said before, they've done it for all these other people who didn't work for AEW.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
But it's like
well,
they
if you're
weren't
going to do it
obligated
for
to do it.
them,
They weren't obligated to do it for those people either. It's nice that they did.
yeah.
It shows that they are respectful of wrestling history.
But once
even
you
if they
start
don't
doing
show it in
that,
their in-ring product.
yeah.
But
once you start showing the respect of those dead wrestlers, and then you have
Yeah,
one of the biggest ones of all time die, and nothing said until your show on Collision, that people, it's
if you do
it's
tributes to
it's
people
still
like when you do tributes to people like Bobby and Paul Bearer,
yes,
no, actually not Paul Bearer. They were Paul Bearer died long before it was somebody else, or Jerry Jarrett. When you do tributes to people like that, I mean, Hulk Hogan, like it or not, is kind of like in so many ways the son of the professional wrestling galaxy.
he is.
Well, solar system, because there's multiple. Well, the sun is a star. There are multiple stars in the galaxy.
I know where you're going. I got it.
It's the galaxy. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, Shivani did his thing. Respectful, good. Kudos to them. In regards to it, yeah, I thought the 10 bells. I knew they're going to do that, and the guy's coming out, and the thing they did for him was great. No issues
It
with that.
was, yeah, the thing on SmackDown, there were two things that struck out to me. One, why was Tommaso Ciampa not wearing a shirt?
No, I know. I
I
didn't
saw
watch the
somebody, I
show,
thought,
so
I didn't, that didn't like hit with me when I was watching
I don't
it.
know if he was the first match, but I didn't watch SmackDown, so I don't no idea.
That didn't hit me when I watched the clip on YouTube, but then I saw somebody point it out on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, he was literally the only person not wearing a shirt there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was significant because again, they would have had to have done it on short notice. I don't know where SmackDown was broadcasting from on um on Friday, but you had Sergeant Slaughter, you had Jim Duggan, you had Ted DiBiase, and you had B. Brian Blair, um, all there, standing next to Triple H. Like they were the guys closest to Triple H, not any of the current roster guys. Those four guys.
Jimmy Hart too.
Oh, Jimmy, of course, Jimmy Hart, and I feel so bad for Jimmy Hart. I really do because I'm hoping Jimmy Hart doesn't share any of Hogan's
Oh, I
leaves, of
was
course, but he's stuck by Hogan for years. I mean, obviously they go way back to when they worked in Memphis. So we're talking 40, closer to
for
50 years
it's
now.
it's 40 plus. I got pissed yesterday on Instagram. There was a person who posted something about Hogan passing, and a guy made a joke on there. Um, there was two things. And what was it for? Oh, someone had posted the video of Hogan being taken out on a stretcher. So that
Oh yeah,
video
I heard about that too. I'm like,
that
come on.
that video was out there. Someone had posted it on X. Bully Ray got pissed and made a comment to take it down. Then all the other media outlets started kind of posting the video that was taken from the news and from a local person, a neighbor, showing it. And then someone goes, "How do you know when? What was it? They were like, how do you know when?" How did they know that Hogan passed away? Question. Answer. When he raised his arm 3 times and it fell on the third try. And I was just like, okay. And then someone made a comment about, feeling bad for Jimmy Hart, and someone wrote, "Don't worry, he'll be joining his best buddy pretty soon anyway." And like all these people just ran through this fucking guy for that comment. I posted something too as well. I couldn't help
Yeah,
it. Like,
that's
like,
bullshit.
Nothing
dude,
like wishing death on somebody.
like it's like, dude,
That is
this
wishing death
guy's
on
been
somebody.
friends. I don't.
That's anticipating somebody's death in a celebratory manner.
Yes, and I was like, let's put the bullshit aside. Like I don't care what you think of Hogan. Like saying something about his close friend for 40 plus years was just unfathomably fucking ridiculous. Like that was just so uncalled for. People laid into this guy, and he didn't reply to any of those people.
Because
Um,
he was obviously trolling then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I made a comment too. I couldn't help it. I'm like, dude, you've gone too far with that one. Like that's like you're fucking around with somebody who's just lost one of his best friends. Like that's just asinine. And I also feel bad for Chelsea Green too, because she was on CBS News, and when he died, they asked her, like, he died, like, they got the news while she was doing the interview, and they asked her, "Oh, Hogan just passed away. What do you think?" And she said nice things about him, about the wrestling business. And the fucking internet blew up on her for not talking about the bad things that he did. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, come on, people. So now Chelsea Green's had a made a post, and now she's taking a break from social media because of it, because she got a shit ton of hate for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, and this is just, unfortunately, people with big mouths behind a keyboard who know they can say whatever the fuck they want and get away with it.
I am the warrior of the
It's
keyboarding.
it's just sad, and it shows like where our society has gone to. um an aspect of that's a whole nother
But yeah,
topic.
the internet is a
um
great place to spread hate,
oh
a
yes,
lot of
yes.
hate that you would never say to anybody's face in public. And some people will say it in public and then still post it on the internet. That well, at least
Yeah, it's
at least your hate
Being
comes through at all
consistent.
times. Yeah, you're being
it's
consistent on your hate.
it's not even the
It's unfortunate.
internet per se as it is social media. I mean, the
But yeah,
Yeah.
internet,
and that's what I mean by internet.
the internet
The
is
social
one thing,
media
but social
aspect.
media took it to something far
Yes,
worse. I
social.
mean, obviously there were comment boards and everything like that, but social media is so much more instant,
Yeah.
that yeah. But
So it's
yeah, Chelsea Green saying that she's like stepping away from social media for a while now because of this. It's like
So sad,
she
man.
she's she I guess she had said stuff critical of Hogan in the past, and now she wasn't criticizing Hogan because she was basically being a company soldier at the time, you know. So people are criticizing her for now not criticizing Hogan. She would have gotten criticized if she did criticize Hogan.
She was damned if she did, damned if she didn't. I mean, she was on there plugging the new Netflix series Untold. Was it Untold? What if not? No, uh whatever the fuck the new things behind the scenes Netflix show WWE is doing. I forget what it's called now.
mhm.
Yeah, on
Um
who fucking cares?
on well, whatever the case may be. She was
Yeah, I know
plugging
what you're
that.
talking
And it's
about. Yeah.
like when somebody passes away, it's not the time to talk about their bad side. Like on national TV. Come on. Look, it's called respect, which a lot of people don't fucking have anymore. It's being respectful to someone who passed away. Listen, the man put you wrestlers in a spot that you are in to date because of what him and Vince McMahon. It was a combo. If Vince did it with anybody else, there would be no WrestleMania.
Yeah,
And
that's
pro
something
wrestler,
that's something Cornette has had segments on in the past about, like, if not Hulk Hogan, who would or could it have been? And like Vince, even on the Netflix documentary, had said that he pursued Dusty first. Dusty's great.
it wouldn't have worked.
I don't think Dusty would have worked the way that Hogan did. And then anybody else that they've ever talked about, they were kind of stumping for who it could have been, and like Kerry Von Erich or Austin Idol, or it was like for one reason or another it
Even
worked.
Macho Man, it wouldn't have worked
Right.
with him either.
Yeah. For whatever reason, whether it was just the overabundant charisma, the physique, and the other thing that people can't overlook here with it either, the Rocky 3 appearance. You know,
Literally,
he he
he
was
bet
he
on
was
himself to do that movie.
yeah, he got fired from WWF, as it still was, because Vince McMahon Sr. didn't want him doing the movie. And Hogan's like, well, this is a great opportunity, so I'm going to do it. And he does it. And then he goes to AWA. And that's really where Hulkamania started.
Yep, 100%.
It's just that Vince Jr. then saw it and said, I can make this bigger. And he did.
Vince saw what Gagne and them did for Hogan in those 6-man tags and helped him build his character in there. And he was like, that what they're doing to help Hogan, I can take it to the next level. And
Yeah.
that's what he pretty much did.
And Gagne started pissing off his own audience because he refused to put the belt on Hogan. He kept winning it, but then they kept taking it away. It's like, oh, he threw Bockwinkel over the top rope, or oh, it wasn't the legal ref. They did a couple fuck finishes, where actually really, dusty finishes, as they're called, where it looks like he won the title, only he really didn't. You can't keep doing that to the audience. But Gagne was old school and thought the champion had to be a great worker like him, or Nick Bockwinkel, or some of those other guys that
So
were AWA champions over the years. So he wouldn't put the belt on, and he was demanding part of Hogan's Japan money, and Hogan said "fuck you," which Hogan was right to do.
absolutely.
And so when Vince came calling,
So
there you go.
Greg Gagne was on Busted Open the other day when
Yeah,
Hogan.
I would believe Greg Gagne about as much as I would believe Hulk Hogan.
Well, he just wait, they so LaGreca asked Greg about, do you think if you would have put the belt on Hogan sooner, he wouldn't have left to go up north? He's like, he could. He goes, maybe, maybe not. It depends. He goes, we could have been hopeful for that. He said, but we kind of wanted Hogan to stay longer because what Greg had said is that they had just got a deal with ESPN and only 2 people knew about it. And they wanted to save Hogan winning that belt when they got on ESPN, and they were going to announce that as a match. There was a deal in place with ESPN. I'm not sure if it was nationally, but it might have been like a regional type of deal with ESPN. But I
I'm
do
gonna
he
say
that
because I just looked it up because I wasn't sure. AWA began airing on ESPN in September 1985.
Yes.
That's 2 years later. I don't really know if he's right about that.
I mean, he was young at the time, but I mean, they wanted the Hogans to stay longer because they were going to put the belt on him at that time. So, but
They have said that, yes.
he's like, but he left, and there was also something else as far as like, t-shirts and merchandising that he was doing. I don't know if they were paying the rest. I don't think he was getting any money for that. I think that was going all to AWA or whatever the case may be. So there was a couple items that were kind of like fine lines for Hogan at that time. And they were Vince probably was paying them more anyway. So it was kind of one of those things. And I mean, think about it. If he stays in AWA, one, Vince isn't doing what he really wants to do. Wrestling isn't the way it is, and it never. We're not at this point in professional wrestling. We're not sitting here talking about it. There's not all these shows all over the place. There's
Right.
not all these other TNA doesn't never gets created. AEW never gets created. There's other promotions. MLW never gets created, probably. There's a lot of different things.
Well, yeah,
But
that is the biggest what if Hogan had stayed in what if
AWA.
Hogan had stayed in AWA? Would WWF have been able to go national the way that they did? Because Vince was going to try to do it, no
He would
matter.
have done it nonetheless, but how successful he would have
Right.
been
That's just
would have been
it.
the case.
Would it? I mean, first and foremost, there was the whole thing about the money that he used to buy the company from his father was the money that they made over the course of like the next year or so.
Yeah.
How much of that money would he have made if he didn't have Hogan? You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, would he have gone national? Could he have gone national? Would AWA have been the company that had gone national then? Where would Crockett have fit into it? Crockett might have still
I
over
mean, you got to,
Crockett probably still would have overextended himself the way that he did, and then
oh yeah.
sell the
But
turn.
but do you
But
think Hogan
it would be much interesting to see. This was the genius of Vince. I hate using that term. He understood what cable television was going to do before anybody else did. Cable television, more so than anything else, was going to take wrestling from being regional the way it was to being national. And he was the one, it was kind of like Walter O'Malley when he moved the Dodgers from Brooklyn to LA. He knew that California baseball was sitting there and somebody had to be the one to do it, and he was going to be the one to do it, damn it. He was going to get on the gravy train first, more or
and,
less.
and think about
Yeah.
this, if Hogan stays in AWA and then the ESPN deal comes about, AWA could have been the WWE that we know right now
Yeah,
with
it's like,
Hogan
would
and
AWA on ESPN with Hulk Hogan as champion and blah, blah, blah outdrawn WWF on USA. That's what it comes down to.
yeah, and
And
really,
to a certain extent, then Jim Crockett Promotions on TBS. So
yeah, it 100%. It could have been a whole different dynamic. But and I don't know if this is true, but I heard one of the people on Busted Open made a comment. It was an old person that they had on. I can't remember his name that worked for Vince back in the day. He said that he created the name WrestleMania because of Hulkamania. He took the mania part and wanted to, because Hulkamania supposedly came first before WrestleMania, the gimmick and the name. So he used the mania part to create WrestleMania. I'm not sure if that's
I
100% true, but that's what the guy who formerly worked for Vince back in the day said.
I haven't heard that because
Because I really don't remember where WrestleMania. I mean, Vince has kind of not really talked about. I don't remember how he. I mean, he had different things, but he said he settled on WrestleMania, but he never really gave an in-depth definition or an in-depth reason why that was the case.
Mhm.
That's what this guy said. But nonetheless, listen,
well, I mean, the only reason I'm saying is because I've always heard the story that Howard Finkel was the one who coined the term WrestleMania. So
yeah, probably could
The
be.
Fink.
I mean, it could have been based off of Hulkamania, but I mean,
We'll never really truly know that.
at one time they were also supposedly considering calling it the Colossal Tussle.
Yes, which is horrible. Um, but yeah, listen, he contributed to the industry in multitudes of ways. He helped start it become sports entertainment. I mean, listen, WrestleMania 1 really is when pro wrestling became entertainment, sports entertainment. If you really look at it, with all the
Mhm.
celebrities for WrestleMania and everything they did with Mr. T and all that shit, and it just continued on from there. And even in, the 90s when wrestling, WWE wasn't doing very well, WCW wasn't doing well, they brought Hogan on. They had a little spike in viewership, but they still weren't making money. That whole NWO thing, another thing, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been successful with Sting, but it wouldn't have been to the level of what it was with uh, um like it was with Hogan.
Yeah, because again, it was so seismic. Hulk Hogan being a bad guy. Yes, he had been a heel before, but nobody under the age of 16 remembered.
No. And the aspect of it too, you got to think about the whole storyline. You have two guys coming from the Northern company, the Northern big boy company, coming down south. And yeah, you could have worked it where you have the biggest baby face of WCW's history, Sting, turning and going with the guys from the North. But it just made more sense for the other baby face, biggest baby face in wrestling history from the North to turn heel with these guys that were from the Northern Company. So, and it just worked. And you got to think about it. Hogan's promo skills, you know, Paul and Nash were good promos. Sting was average. That would have kind of hurt the whole promo thing. Sting would have had to up his ante with that. Could he have? Absolutely, but it probably wouldn't have been as good as how Hogan promotes shit. So that's another aspect of it too. Just took that to the next level.
Hmm.
Yeah, tons of contributions, man. Tons of contributions. Like I even forget that Hogan and Taker had a program together when he came back to WWE. I forget about that too.
Yeah, Taker took the title off of Hogan in 2002 after Hogan had taken it off of Triple H, after Triple H had taken it off of Jericho, after Jericho had become the first ever undisputed champion when he beat Austin and Rock on the same night.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it was like, yeah, I forget about that whole shit,
Yeah,
but
that's where
yeah,
they did the thing where Undertaker dragged Hogan
with the
backstage
with
on
the
his bike with a
motorcycle.
chain, and then in the match, Undertaker cheated when, of course, that's where they did the thing which they incorporated into the video games briefly after that. I remember where he like would do the chair to the throat thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You like stick the chair in
Oh,
the guy's throat, and then jam it down into the mat. So like it was like the chair would hit the mat and go, you know.
yeah, that was another thing too. Someone had posted on X a picture. They're like, Undertaker finally got him. What was the caption? Undertaker finally got his man, and it shows Undertaker choke slamming Hogan into a grave. I was like, Jesus Christ, people. I was like, God.
See,
Listen, I know Undertaker was not a huge fan of Hogan for specific reasons. I get it,
he tweeted something nice about him though, so
but he was respectful in his tweet. Like,
yeah.
come on now. Let's,
I know Vince tweeted something, and
yes.
I think I replied to that on Cage Side Seats. I said, "Well, whenever you have somebody as esteemed as Vince McMahon extolling your character, you know you've done well."
Yeah, I know Shane had like
Fl-
retweeted his dad's tweet and kind of added a little bit to it, but
yeah,
respectful and not.
Flair, I guess, was pretty.
Yo, I watched TMZ, man. I
I
don't
didn't
I don't know
I
about
didn't
them
watch the
guys.
Flair video when I heard he was crying. I'm like, "Ah, I don't need to see him crying. That's
Yo, I watched it. I watched it. I think it was too soon for TMZ to be putting Flair on because he
it
was
definitely was, especially because
bad.
Flair's had health issues lately. I mean, he had the whole cancer thing, and um,
I don't know who was with him, but there was a female hand that kept coming over and like wiping his tears and stuff for him. Like he was bad.
yeah.
He
So
wasn't he wasn't as bad on when he went on Busted Open. He was still emotional, but not as bad as the TMZ thing. DDP was on um Busted Open too. He got emotional and stuff like that. I know
yeah.
Kevin Nash wrote something simple about it. I'm
Oh
curious to
yeah,
see what.
somebody had mentioned about, oh man, fucking Nash. He's lost Scott,
Yep.
his son.
Yeah. that was
And
bad.
now Hogan, within a relatively shorter period of time, to have to go through that much loss and everything. So
Yep.
it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's like he's the last guy standing of the original NWO now. So it's like, oh man, that just blows. I know Jake Roberts tweeted something, and Jake he cropped the picture of the Hulkamaniacs 1989 Survivor Series team, so it was
Mhm.
just him and Hulk, and then Demolition was standing to the opposite side of Hulk. So, and it wasn't bad Demolition, of course, but it's like looking at that picture again just made me go, oh, man, that was such good times.
Someone had posted too that Bret Hart and somebody else are the last two surviving
I was gonna
people of like the first whatever WrestleManias or some crazy shit like that. I forget what it was. It had something to do with something. I was like, damn, if this is right, wow, that's crazy. I forget what it specifically was. I don't know if it had to do with main events or some whatever the
Yeah,
case may be.
I've been wondering when and if Brett would say anything. And look, Brett doesn't again, Brett doesn't have to say anything.
No, I have not seen him say anything. I have not heard or seen him say anything. So I'm curious to see what he
Well, here's something interesting that I don't know if it's true or not.
you're always curious to see what the people who had grudges against Hogan or didn't like certain things about ex-wrestlers and when they die, you kind of see like how they reflect on that person. I'm just curious to see what Bret Hart has to say.
Uh, um, this is interesting. I mean, this is very interesting.
What's that?
I am floored, speechless, don't know what to say, in shock, denial, trying to process. Just wow, man. Vince Russo. Vince fucking Russo paid tribute to Hogan.
I know Russo.
Because he posted a picture of Hogan too. So
I know Russo. They talked. There was a clip of them talking about what they did on SmackDown, and he's the only thing he really talked about was like he felt so bad for Jimmy. Like Jimmy Hart was the one he talked about the most. He's like, I
well,
feel
yeah,
bad for
that was
Jimmy
like
Hart.
the last point I was trying to make about that before we kind of went on a whole tangent about people being shitty. Seeing Jimmy kind of wiping a tear away, that really hurts. It really, really does. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, just look. No matter how you look at it, whatever way you want to look at it, you just can't change the fact that he left behind a complicated legacy.
Yeah,
And the fact that his legacy is so complicated is of his own making. Like any criticism that people are levying against him is because of things that he said and did.
Hmm.
So there's nobody to blame. So if somebody wants to attack me for criticizing him, even as he's dead, I'll just be criticizing him because of things that he said and did, not because of what others have said and done to him or about him, because of things he did.
yeah, yeah, of course.
And it's beyond just that he was a Trump supporter.
The other thing too was like, I mean, criticism is there, for the factual things that he's said and done. I just feel for me like seeing like within 24 hours seeing people go on podcasts, like people were throwing other people under the bus where there was like this podcast of like three people and all they did was talk about all the negative shit in regards to Hogan. Not one thing he did for the industry, the wrestling industry just talked all negative, and people were just blasting them for that shit. Like, there's a time and place for that. You know what I mean? Like, the man just passed, and all you want to do is blast him for all the negative shit. To me, that's just too soon, too disrespectful in that manner. Give it a bit. If you want to relish into the the bad side of Terry Bollea, but 24 hours within a 24-hour time period after the man just passed away, that just disrespectful, and just shows you that that podcast is just, and some of these others are just looking for the fucking clicks to get, people to view and see all the shit they're posting. They're just looking for those clicks. That's all it is, and that's pretty fucking horrible.
Jesus Christ, it is impossible to go through Dave Meltzer's Twitter feed.
Well, how about
Good
we
luck with that
let's
shit.
not go down that route. Let's just leave
Well,
that
I
alone.
was just looking for some stuff because he was giving him. I think when somebody took him to task for something in the last couple of days, he went on one of these. I'm up on a pedestal above everybody else, and if it wasn't for me, nobody else would be doing this thing. Kind of um, self pats on the back.
Oh,
Talking
bitch,
about talking
please.
about talking about being a wrestling reporter, not talking about Hogan or anything.
Yeah, bitch, please. There are
And
other people
so
doing it too.
I was just looking to try to find the start of it. But Jesus Christ, you got to scroll through so many tweets because this motherfucker doesn't get to fuck off Twitter.
No, he's constantly on it. Oh, I will give kudos to Matt Jackson though. Matt Jackson did post on X about Hogan, and it was a nice tweet. So kudos
Well,
to you for being positive with
yeah,
that.
good for him because you would maybe not expect him to do so. So
Yeah, it was a good tweet. It had something to do with like a picture he had taken with one of his kids or something like that. I forget what the logistics of it, but yeah, so kudos to Matt Jackson for being respectful. Not saying he wouldn't have been, but kudos to him in regards to that.
I guess I'm seeing some people taking Meltzer replying to people on Twitter. Hogan didn't save wrestling; it didn't need saving. I would agree. It didn't need. We're talking about like 1983, 1984 when Hulkamania started, and it wasn't. Wrestling, I think, was doing fine. It just wasn't as big as it got.
It wasn't making a lot of money. That was the problem.
Well, he's saying to somebody WWE was doing, WWF was doing fine in 1983. Um,
Well, per Vince and per some of the others, they were doing fine, but they were just making profit. They were barely making profit.
yeah.
So you were able to still run the business for the next couple of years, but they had to do something to generate more revenue
Yeah.
because Vince was going to start losing some of those guys he was stealing from other places if he wasn't able to get them to the next level.
Well, the one thing here is Meltzer was probably in one guy's tweet. One guy was saying after all the big names that left WWF, WWE to WCW, you didn't think WWF, WWE was dying around the time Hogan joined the NWO. Meltzer said it was losing money, then it started making money. I don't know if he's talking about WWF or WCW there. Around the world, pro wrestling was doing great in some places. The only true dark age period in my lifetime in the US for popularity was late 92 to 95, and it was flourishing in other places then. Obviously, he's meaning Japan.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Japan was huge. There were no issues over there.
and why was wrestling floundering in popularity late 92 to 95? The steroid fallout.
Steroid fallout and the horrible gimmicks.
Yep. So, all right, Jeremy, I understand you need to get going, and we have been on a while, so.
Yes, I
I
You
have
didn't
to
don't
want
have
say.
to go anywhere.
I
Well, I
wasn't
do
intentionally
because
I wasn't intentionally dragging us down the Meltzer round. I
so
apologize.
I'm going to leave you guys with this and let you guys wrap it up. My son and I were going to see Dude Perfect today. They do crazy stunt shots and stuff like that, crazy little things like that. They're on YouTube. You can search it up.
I thought this was a movie.
No, it's a live show. They do all kinds of like crazy trick shots and stuff like that. So we're going to see them in Reading. So I need to get going so I can get prepared for that.
All right, you leave us then. We're
Okay,
fine.
I will. Peace out. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye.
I didn't see his text message. That was I didn't my bad. Um,
Yeah.
no, yeah, yeah. Listen, I mean, yeah, those are dark ages. Whatever. Listen, the WWE, like the boys know they could have been run out of business. Like it got to a bad point where they could have had to cut a lot of half their staff, half their wrestlers to keep some type of product going. Um, and even in WCW, listen, Bischoff already said even with Sting and Flair, they were not making money. They were not, they were not generating a good revenue
Well,
stream
yeah, I
with
mean,
those guys. They were
I think
still
they even
losing
said
money.
even when I think a lot of people. Sorry to interrupt. I think a lot of people want to think that as soon as Hogan came into WCW in '94, WCW was doing great, and they
It
really weren't.
wasn't.
They really weren't. If you watch WCW in 1995, especially before Nitro launches in September of that year, it was even more cartoony than WWF had been in the late 80s and early 90s.
It
Because what was
was.
the big thing running through WCW in 1995? Hogan versus the Dungeon of Doom. You don't get much more comical. And then it really became Hogan and Savage versus the Dungeon of Doom. And Sting.
And to me, when that was happening, that just felt like Hogan versus Kamala, Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter.
Well,
Like,
it's fun. It's funny you say that too because somebody had posted this on a Facebook page in the past week. Remember, if you remember WCW Bash at the Beach '95, they did it literally on the beach there somewhere in California. I don't remember exactly where in California, and it was essentially a precursor to the Hog Wild / Road Wild shows. In that here they are running this show live outdoors in a unique venue, but there was no gate. So they literally weren't making money because they didn't charge for admission, you know.
Huntington Beach, July
Huntington Beach.
16th,
Okay.
1995, on Huntington Beach,
Okay.
California.
Scroll down to the match card and tell me what match that somebody was posting and saying, why did they make WCW fans in 1995 suffer through this?
All right, let's see. The main card.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
so
I think it was on the main card, but maybe not.
let's see. I'll go through the whole card
Okay.
so that yeah, the match was broadcast prior to the pay-per-view on main event. Okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
those two,
include those matches then too.
yeah. So the main event matches were one, Johnny B. Bad defeated Chris Canyon, two
Chris
minutes.
Canyon
Yeah,
in 1995. Wow.
2 minutes and 3 seconds. Road Warrior Hawk defeated Mark Starr in a minute 25. Dick Slater and Buckhouse Buck with Colonel Robert Parker defeated Marcus Bagwell and Alex Wright in a tag match in 3 minutes and 27 seconds.
Slater and Buck had a brief run with the tag titles sometime in '95. So yeah.
All right. The next match looks like this is the first match of the card. Sting in a this was Sting versus Ming. Sting defeated Ming with Colonel Robert Parker, and that was for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. That was that's the longest match in the card. 15 minutes and 28 seconds. Sting versus Ming.
The
Ming,
man called Meng.
he can
The
go.
man called Meng.
Next match was for the WCW World Television Championship. That was the Renegade champion with Jimmy Hart defeated Paul Orndorff. 6 minutes, 12 seconds. Next match.
Paul Orndorff jobbing to Renegade. Oh boy.
Yes. And Renegade was a WCW television champion.
Yeah,
Um,
they were trying to make something of him, and the problem was the guy just wasn't he didn't get it.
no.
He didn't have it. And I'm
Next
not trying to
match.
speak ill of him because I know he committed suicide, and
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. I
that's very
understand.
sad, of course. But you know he just wasn't a good wrestler.
Next match. Kamala with Taskmaster defeated Jim Duggan. 6 minutes, 6 seconds. The next match, Diamond Dallas Page with the Diamond Doll and Max Muscle defeated Dave Sullivan, 4 minutes, 23 seconds.
Dave Sullivan.
This match I do remember because I was a fan of this tag team. A triangle match for the WCW World Tag Team Champions. Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry defeated the Nasty Boys and the Blue Bloods.
What kind of match you said? A triangle?
It's a triangle match.
Okay. I didn't hear that as triangle. I heard tribal.
Yeah, sorry, triangle. The Blue Bloods, which was Lord Steven Regal and Robert Eaton.
Earl Robert Eaton.
No, yeah.
Hey, you can still find on
What is this?
I think I've mentioned this before, but you can find on YouTube the clips where Steven Regal was making Bobby Eaton into a sophisticated gentleman, Earl Robert Eaton, and
Yeah.
you can tell that they were obviously filmed at the United Kingdom Pavilion in Epcot.
Yes. Here's the next match, and I want to go back and watch this pay-per-view now. The next match was Randy Savage defeated Ric Flair, 13 minutes and 56 seconds, in a lifeguard match. I have to go back and watch that shit.
I think it was a lumberjack match, but because they were on the beach, they
It
called
was
it
a lifeguard.
lifeguard.
So
And I think they had the guys dressed as lifeguards.
and feel like this is the match where, oh, maybe no, this is a steel cage match. Um, but I know Vader had an issue with Hogan kicking out of his finisher.
That I think happened at their match at Super Brawl earlier that year.
Yes.
I think.
He was like, I understand he's Hogan, but he shouldn't be kicking out of my finisher. I'm like,
I mean, yeah, it was amazing enough that Vader was able to pick him up to powerbomb because obviously Hogan's a huge guy, so he's not
yeah,
a guy as easy to powerbomb in the first place. And he
yeah,
does it, and yeah, Hogan like did the immediate no sell Hulk.
yes, yeah, the Hulk up, which I mean, that's his thing, so I get it. But okay, steel cage match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Hogan, the champion, with Jimmy Hart, defeated Big Van Vader by escaping the cage. 13 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know that I've watched all of that show. I know I've watched parts of it.
I need to walk back and watch that. I'm
Yeah, I think
curious.
I do too. I think I need to actually go back and watch some of like the old WCW, like the pre-Nitro shows
Yes.
that are there on the network still. Okay, so again, as you're looking at that whole card, what match do you think somebody posted on Facebook and said, "How did they make WCW pay-per-view audience sit through this in 1995?"
Oh no, Kamala versus Duggan.
Exactly, Kamal versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
That's the one that kind of like stuck out to me. Right when I pulled the card up, I'm like,
I mean, dude, that
I
was
think you're
literally
talking about this one.
yeah. I mean, think about it. No offense to either guy. That's the I mean, that was a WWF match in 1988 or 1987.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
Duggan could still be Duggan and he could still get a crowd response, but obviously Duggan was never the most versatile wrestler. And Kamala, I don't know exactly what his health was like then, but he was clearly a guy that was brought in because he was a guy Hogan felt comfortable working with. There's no other reason for Kamala to have been in WCW in 1995.
And didn't Kamala become part of the
He was part of the Dungeon of Doom. He was in the
yeah,
War Games match that happened at Fall Brawl that year. It
yes.
was Hogan's team over was Hogan, Savage, Sting, and Luger, who replaced Vader because Vader got fired and then went to WWF, and that's when Luger walked back in, and there was all the tension between Hogan and Savage and Luger, with Sting trying to stick up for Luger, and the Dungeon of Doom team that they faced was, I believe it was Kamala, Meng, Shark, and Zodiac.
Okay, okay.
You want to talk about the most late 80s, early 90s of WWF heels right there. I mean, even though Beefcake, of course, was never a heel in WWF, but Kamala, Haku, and Earthquake.
So supposedly the last two matches of that card were dubbed as a double main event.
Yes, because
So
WCW always loved to pull that bullshit.
So the second to last match was a lumberjack match called Lifeguard Match to go along with the beach theme, of course. Several women in red bathing suits were also around the ring for the match, as this would be included as part of the episode of Baywatch. The main,
Ah, okay, that makes sense then too.
yes, the match
Bischoff was always into the cross promotion.
always like hog wild. The match,
Well, that
which
was that was Bischoff wanting to be a biker, but yeah.
yes, same concept. The match saw Randy Savage defeat Ric Flair. Had the following lifeguards: Diamond Dallas Page, Booker T, Stevie Ray, Muscle. Who the fuck was Muscle? Max Muscle. I gotta look. Dave Sullivan, Arn Anderson, Johnny B. Bad, Dick Slater, Buckhouse Buck, Chris Canyon, Jim Duggan, Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags, and Mark Starr. Okay. Well,
Max Muscle was a pro wrestler, and I do say was because he passed away a few years ago. His real name was John. Oh my God, it's one of those like Polish names, I think, that I can't pronounce.
oh, I see a picture of him now. Now I know who he
Yeah,
is.
it's spelled CzawlYtko. Well, you got a name that's got a Z, a Y, and a W in it. But yeah, he was Max Muscle or Max Muscle. with two M's.
Gotcha. Okay.
He never really did anything other than that string in WCW, and I think yeah, I think he was basically usually like DDP's power or bodyguard kind of.
Yes, yeah, that mentions that too. Okay. All right, now on to the next one. The main event of the event was a steel cage match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship between the champion Hulk Hogan and Big Van Vader. During the match, the Zodiac and Kevin Sullivan attempted to get involved in the match. However, Dennis Rodman attacked them with a chair. Ultimately, as Vader was at the top rope, God, I can't read. Hogan knocked him off, allowing him to climb the cage and escape. Following the match, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson came out to confront Vader for not getting the job done, resulting in Vader challenging both of them.
That was the beginning of Vader turning face. Because remember, like I said, he was going to be on Hogan's Team of War Games a couple months later,
Yep.
and all the whole um the whole Arn Flair issue, which which they teased, and then they had a match against each other at Fall Brawl, which then led to which then led to Pillman getting involved, siding with Arn.
Yes.
In fact, I think he helped Arn win that match, and then that led to
I think
Flair
so.
begging Sting to team with him at Halloween Havoc against Arn and Pillman, where they, of course, swerved Sting.
Of course.
And then they reformed the Horsemen with Flair, Arn, Pillman, and Benoit, who had just come in,
Yep.
which was a run of Horsemen that unfortunately never got going because of Pillman stuff, and which I would have really liked to have seen.
Same.
Would have really liked to, but of course, once the NWO started, things would have probably changed entirely there too. You know.
Yeah. Bash of the Beach, first event, 1994, last one, well, under WCW 2000, because somehow AEW got the rights to Bash at the Beach.
Yeah, I can't believe WWE didn't renew the trademark for that one.
Yeah, it's funny how they didn't want to.
Considering how much significant stuff happened there, and even though it wasn't their stuff, it's stuff that they own now, though.
Yeah, to promote the 1995 event, Hogan, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Vader, Kevin Sullivan guest starred in season 6, episode 15 of Baywatch, also titled Bash at the Beach. Oh, that's so funny. WWE left the Bash at the Beach trademark to expire in 2004, 2005 after their purchase of WCW. Cody Rhodes, executive vice president at the time for All Elite Wrestling, a promotion that was founded in 2019, trademarked the name in early 2019 for the use of the company as it was created by his father, Dusty Rhodes. So yeah,
I was
I
gonna
get
say that was
that.
Dusty probably came up with the name.
Yeah.
Probably also because I'm gonna imagine it was something like this. Well, let me tell you something, kid. I was the one who came up with the name the Great American Bash, baby, right? So let me tell you something. We're using Great American Bash now. We're using it for our pay-per-view name in June. Is that right? Okay. So we're gonna do a new pay-per-view in July now, brother. Is that right? Yeah. So why don't we do it another bash, but because it's July, we're gonna do it somewhere that's gonna invoke fun. And it's gonna invoke fun. It's gonna invoke all the things that you want to do. So let's do a bash at the beach, baby.
Here's something interesting. I knew there was some trademark issues with Cody, so it said, okay, so let me read all of it. AEW Bash at the Beach, which was held as a two-part special for AEW's flagship program Dynamite, took place on January 15th. Why would you do Bash at the Beach in fucking January anyway? But never mind. January 15th, 2020, and continued with Chris Jericho's
Oh, wait,
Rock
wait,
in.
wait. When did they do that?
It was on January 15th, 2020.
Oh, okay. I was
It
going to
could
say if it was 2021, I could understand why they might do that because they're still trying to take people's minds off COVID and everything. But January 2020, the pandemic hadn't really fully hit in the United States yet. So,
So January 15th, 2020, continued with Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea on January 22nd. In August of that year, Cody's trademark was officially denied by the United States Patent and Trademark Office. By
ooh,
November of that year, a settlement was reached between Cody Rhodes and WWE, in which Cody gained the Cody Rhodes trademark, which WWE had held onto after his run in the company, in exchange for WWE gaining the WCW event name trademarks that Cody had claimed, including Bash at the Beach. So
Hmm.
WWE does have, maybe, I don't remember WWE using Bash at the Beach though. They haven't used
I
it.
don't think they have either. I know they've used Great
I,
American Bash. I know they've used
yeah,
Halloween Havoc.
Great American Bash. The word
They've even
bash and
used
two
they've even used
names.
Starcade the one time.
Yeah, they usually use it for the NXT shows, which is fine,
Yes.
which I'm glad they do. Yeah, so okay, they haven't used it then.
I was gonna say those are the only WCW. Like I don't think wait, have they used Fall Brawl for an NXT?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So like they haven't used World War III, of course. They haven't used Hog Wild or Road Wild. They haven't used Super Brawl that I know of. I don't think they've used Sold Out. I don't think they used Slamboree or Spring Stampede. I'm trying to think of all the WCW pay-per-view games. They obviously didn't use any of the late WCW pay-per-view names like New Blood Rising or Sin or Greed. Um,
Here's something funny.
what
No,
was
there's a
the?
lot of them they haven't used.
I don't think they used Mayhem. Yeah, so
Here, so out of these seven WCW Bash at the Beach events, Hogan main evented in five of the seven.
out of the seven Bash at the Beach events, Hogan main evented five out of the seven. Okay, so the first one was Flair in '94.
Yes. The
The
second one,
'95 one, the '95 one with Vader.
yes.
Can you really say he main evented the '96 one?
They're going to because he was the third person.
Yeah, but he wasn't like announced for it, so I was like, yeah, yeah, okay. What was the main event in '97?
That was Lex Luger and the Giant versus Dennis Rodman and Hollywood Hogan.
Oh, okay.
And then the
98,
next year,
98 was the Jay Leno, wasn't it?
yes, that next year again, Dennis Rodman and Hollywood Hogan versus DDP and Carl Malone.
Oh no, it was the Rodman Malone one. Oh yeah, Jay Leno was at Road Wild.
Yes, Leno was well. And then the last two
He
made
was
of
out. Yeah, he was out. He was still hurt, I think, in '99.
so yeah, the 99 and 2000. So 99 was Kevin Nash and Sting versus Randy Savage and Sid Vicious
Yeah,
for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which I just
yeah, it was dumb. And then yeah,
don't
2000, the main event ended up being the impromptu Booker T Jeff Jarrett match because.
correct.
But the thing with yeah, and the thing there, of course, too was, and looking back, it's like I should have known something was up. There were still matches that hadn't happened yet when Hogan and Jarrett came out for their match. So it's like I should have known something was up once they started announcing that. But then of course like Jarrett took forever to get to the ring, and Russo came out, and then obviously all this shit happened. So,
Yep.
but yeah, so like that match wasn't in the main event slot even if it had gone through.
Yeah, created by Dusty Rhodes. Yes, we know.
Look, baby, if it was in WCW, I probably had a hand in creating it because I am the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and you will respect my name.
Yeah,
And you
crazy.
will stop asking Cody to turn heel, brother, because it's not the right time.
Oh man,
Cody still has
crazy.
an incredible connection with the crowd, baby. Now, I don't know what the hell Dustin's doing.
Ah, I don't know. They're giving them titles.
I know. I just had to throw that in there as a swipe at AEW just because.
Oh my God, here's a list of all the championships they've held.
Who?
WCW, like
Oh,
all the championships that they've had, because they were cross promoted with NWA at that time, or
yes.
however that works. So
Well, I
NWA,
mean, yeah, yeah.
it's noted on here. NWA Western States Heritage Championship, NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
I think the Western States Heritage title might have been the one of the ones that came over from UWF from Mid South, and was
Jim Crockett.
oh, that was a Crockett one. Okay.
Yeah. The world title of NWA, it was defended within WCW from 1988 until 1993.
Well,
That
that's the title that I think became called the international title, maybe too. That
the
was the one
N
that was the big gold belt for a while too.
Yeah. This one I never knew it existed. NWA World Six-Man Tag Championship. The title was established under the Chicago territory of NWA in 1955 and defended within WCW from 1988 into 1989, so a year. Wow.
I remember them having a six-man title in like 1991.
Not sure. NWA World Tag Team Championship, the World Tag Team title of NWA. It was defended within WCW from 92 through 93. So that was short-lived too.
Which one was that again? I'm sorry.
That was the NWA World Tag Team Championship.
Oh.
And then the
And the NWA kind of officially pulled out in like 93 or 94.
Yeah. And then the official WCW belts. WCW Cruiserweight Championship, Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship. This one.
That was in like 2001 at the end, yeah.
Yeah. This title was retired 8 days later after WCW's purchase of WWF. Okay.
Yeah, obviously they barely cared about light heavyweights, cruiserweights, and WWF. They definitely were going to have a cruiserweight tag title.
WCW Light Heavyweight Championship established in 91 and it was defended until September of 92 and it was retired.
And they got rid of it and then they more or less resurrected it under the cruiserweight name.
WCW Hardcore Championship established in 99, defended until January 2001 when Ming jumped to the WWF as champion. The title was retired later that year due to WCW being bought by WWF. Okay.
Yep.
WCW International World Heavyweight Championship, the secondary world title of WCW. It was established in 1993 under WCW International, a fictitious subsidiary of WCW. It was defended until 1994 when it was unified with the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and
I want to see who held that belt.
Rick Rude.
Was he the only one?
He may have been.
Oh, no. Ric Flair.
Oh, well, yeah, I think they ended up unifying it with the WCW.
Yeah, Flair defeated Barry Windham for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The NWA withdraws recognition on September 15th, 1993. Then when WCW leaves the NWA, Ric Flair continued recognized as the World Heavyweight Champion by WCW. WWE does not recognize this reign as a separate reign, and it is included as one of Flair's 8 NWA title reigns recognized by WWE. But nonetheless, he held this belt for 63 days. Rick Rude held it for 178 days.
Yeah, I also want to say, and I could be wrong,
and it was held by other people.
Yeah, I want to say that was like, so they still had their affiliation with the NWA, and they had both the NWA World Heavyweight title and the WCW World Heavyweight title. And then when the NWA withdrew their support, they were like, well, we're keeping the belt. And that became the International Heavyweight title. I could very well be wrong on that, though.
It might have been. Rude was recognized as the WCW International World Heavyweight Champion after withdrawal of WCW from NWA. So he held the belt. He got it in 93, held it for 178 days. Hiroshi Hase,
I think.
Hase won it in Tokyo, Japan. He held it for 8 days until Rick Rude won it back in a house show in Kyoto, Japan. He held it for 24 days until Sting beat him at Spring Stampede 94. Sting held it for 14 days. Rick Rude won it back May 1st, 1994 in Japan. That was his third reign and his final. Held it for 21 days. It was vacated.
I think it was vacated because of Rude's injury.
Sting was notified of the reversal at Slamboree, but refused the title, leaving it vacant. So there was a match, but he refused the title and left it vacant.
Yeah, I think that was when Rude hurt his back, and it was in a match against Sting where it was on this like raised platform, and like Rude like hit his back against the edge of it.
Oh, same pay-per-view, Slamboree 94. Sting defeated Big Van Vader, who replaced Rick Rude, who suffered a career-ending injury during the May 1st match. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ric Flair won it for a second time. And then in 93, the big gold belt was renamed the WCW World title following unification match. The WCW title, the Nature Boy won April 21st, was retired. Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of curious who held that belt because some of these belts you just don't know. United States, WCW United States Heavyweight Championship, United States Tag Team Championship, Women's Championship, established in 96 and defended by Gia Japan until 98 when the title was retired. Women's Cruiserweight Championship, I don't remember that. That
I
was
don't
in
remember
90.
that either. Yeah.
The title was established in 97 but retired the following year. Now I'm curious to see who
I don't
held
remember
that
that at
belt.
all.
Let's see. So they held a tournament, inaugural tournament in April 7th, 97.
Yeah, I just
Three females held it,
I don't yeah, I don't remember that title at all.
and they're all Japanese. This is when I think WCW was really big with their
They had a relationship with New Japan, I think.
yeah, in the 90s. So this was all Japanese. Toshi and then Hamura and then Soto had it.
So yeah, it's entirely possible that title was never defended in the United States.
No, it wasn't. Well, the first one it was Huntsville, Alabama at main event, and then the next two were in Japan.
See, that's another reason why I want to remember them because it was only on main event, it wasn't on Nitro.
Yeah. And then the WCW
Or
World
even
Heavyweight.
Saturday night, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. And then the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which was the big gold belt. The WCW World Six-Man Championship, which established in February 91 and defended until December
Yeah, within
of
the last.
91 when it was retired. Who held those belts?
I think Dustin Rhodes did once.
These belts. Okay. So Junkyard Dog and Ricky Morton and Tommy Rich.
That is quite the team.
Yes, they defeated Buddy Landell, Dutch Mantel, and Dr. X at a house show. They held the belts for
Nobody knows who Dr. X was then.
they held the belts for 106 days. And then the Fabulous Freebirds won the belt on main event in Birmingham, Alabama. Bad Street, Jimmy Garvin, and Michael Hayes. They held the belt for 63 days.
I'm pretty sure Bad Street was Brad Armstrong.
And then Big Josh, Dustin Rhodes, and Tom Zink won the belts on Worldwide
Z-Man.
in August of 91. And they held the belts for 64 days. And then the last champions won it on main event. They held it for 57 days. It was the York Foundation. Richard Morton, Thomas Rich, and Terrence Taylor.
Yep.
And then it was retired in December.
Alexandria York, who of course was Terry Runnels, with her like computer, and she made all these guys like sophisticated. So they couldn't be Ricky Morton, Tommy Rich, and Terry Taylor. It was Richard Morton, Terrence Rich, Terrence Taylor and Thomas Rich. Yeah.
Yes. And then, the WCW World Tag Team Champions, and then the WCW World Television Championship. This one, the title was established in 1974 under Jim Crockett Promotions and was defended within WCW until April 2000 when the title was retired. Ooh, that title had a long reign. Oh shit.
Yeah, it was really the second most important title in Jim Crockett Promotions because behind the United States title, because even though Flair was the NWA champion throughout so much of that, and he was always on Crockett TV, Crockett didn't own the NWA heavyweight title. So the top two singles titles in Crockett, in Jim Crockett Promotions, were the United States title and the television title. And then the television title became more and more irrelevant, unfortunately, as time went on.
There was a total of 104 champions. The belt was won.
A lot of big names held the television title.
Yeah. So here's God. There was 52 different. Well, there was 52 different champions. Arn Anderson held it 4 times for a total of 877 days. I won't do the days, but Arn Anderson 4 times, Tully Blanchard 3, Paul Jones 5. Why is this? Okay, let me do this. It was out of order. It was by rank. Sorry, let me start over. Booker T held it 6 times. Paul Jones 5, Arn Anderson 4, Steven Regal 4, Ricky Steamboat 4, Greg Valentine 4, Tully Blanchard 3, um, Mike Rotunda 3, Johnny B. Bad 3 times, Dusty Rhodes 3 times, Rick Steiner 3 times, Ivan Koloff 3 times, Chris Benoit 3 times, Steve Austin twice, Charlie Brown, Jimmy Valiant twice, Ric Flair twice, Baron von Ratsky twice, Lex Luger twice, Scott Steiner twice, Roddy Piper twice, Ultimate Dragon 2 times, Disco Inferno, Dick Slater, yeah, Paul Orndorff, The Great Muta, Sting, Chris Jericho, The Renegade, Larry Zbyszko, DDP, Fit Finley, holy shit, Alex Wright, Conan, Stevie Ray, Barry Windham, Mr. Wrestling, Scott Hall. Wow. Yeah,
Mr. Wrestling or Mr. Wrestling 2?
Mr. Wrestling.
Okay.
And then the Masked Superstar.
Yes, that was Axe Bellidi.
Yeah. And then the programming, WCW Pro, WCW Saturday Night, Best of World Championship Wrestling, WCW Worldwide, WCW Clash of Champions, Main Event, Power Hour, All Nighter, Prime, and then Monday Nitro and Thunder.
Yeah, obviously Nitro, Thunder, Saturday Night were like the more significant shows. I think all the other ones were syndicated.
It's funny though, like it's weird that Thunder was only on from 98 to 2001. You know, when you're in the moment in the 90s, it felt like that show was on for way longer than what it was.
Yeah, people always deride Thunder, saying Thunder wasn't a good show, and oftentimes it wasn't. But it was like they're like, oh, it stretched the talent roster too thin, and this or that. And it was like, it made perfect sense. And yeah, hey, SmackDown ended up doing it.
Well, yeah,
So it was
they needed it too, to be honest with
it
you, to a
wasn't. I
certain
don't.
extent.
So I don't think it was really so much that Thunder was a bad show. It's just that it was put together. Well, okay, I mean, I guess it was, but it was like I think it needed to happen, but like they just didn't. They never found the right balance with it and everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But oh, yeah, we just kind of went down a rabbit hole of WCW history. How we got there, we don't know, but we did.
I don't either. I really don't know why you started going through it all.
I don't know. It's just curiosity sometimes.
But you did.
I know I did. I did. I was going to go see um
But yeah, Blanche.
Fantastic Four today, but when I was looking at tickets yesterday, there was um the seats that are available in the 2 theaters that I go to. I didn't like the where the seats were. I can't sit that close to a screen to watch a movie. So
Yeah, I definitely can't. I don't know if I've ever told the story before. So way back in the day, my dad took me and my older sister, wouldn't have been my younger sister yet, to go see the Black Cauldron,
oh
the Disney animated movie. And this is funny too because this movie was considered like a notorious flop for Disney and everything. But when we went to go see it, and I don't remember where, it would have been somewhere in Jersey at the time, we could only get seats in like the front row. So my dad always likes to always talk about how we were watching the movie like this.
yeah, I can't do that shit, bro.
So I refuse. Like that's why I always try to sit in the very back row. Also because I'm tall, I don't want people behind me. It's not so much of an issue in some of the theaters now, especially with all the stadium theaters, but it's like I still just prefer sitting as far back as possible.
Yeah, I like to sit in the middle. In regards to that. I just the seats that we normally sit in, those rows were taken. I didn't want to sit all the way in the back because I'm not a fan of that either. And there was a couple seats all the way in the back. I just didn't want to do that because sometimes the high school kids sit back there and they just act stupid and I can't fucking watch a movie. So, and I can't sit all the way up front because I am fucking my head back. I'll get my neck, my herniated disc will act up and I'll get a fucking headache for being that close. So I'm like, yeah, probably go during the week, or just wait till next Sunday. I think that's what I might do and just kind of go from there. or
Yeah,
maybe
I saw it yesterday,
or
and
maybe Thursday.
it was it was okay. I didn't think it was great. To make the unfair comparison, because the movies have nothing to do with each other, um, Superman was better.
Okay,
But, obviously that's just my thoughts. I don't want to get into a lot of specifics since you haven't seen it yet. So,
gotcha. I know Doctor Doom is in it.
um,
I saw
um,
I saw somebody post something, and I actually scrolled through it, and I fucking quickly scrolled through it, and I'm like, shit.
I
But
mean,
I don't know the extent of it.
I guess you can say that, but
I
yeah.
don't know the capacity, but I'll just wait to see the movie to see if what I saw was legitimate or if that is the scene or whatever the case may be. I'll get the details of it. But
Okay, well, let me
nonetheless,
ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. Have you seen Thunderbolts?
yeah,
Okay. So spoilers coming. The post-credit scene in Thunderbolts
yes.
does not happen
In the movie.
in the movie in Fantastic Four. So that's something we won't know for sure about for another year and a half.
Interesting.
Since, Avengers Doomsday was pushed until December of next year. Marvel's going to be off our screens for a full year now.
Movie screens, yeah.
The next Marvel movie isn't until next July with the next Spider-Man movie.
I think they have
Which
the
which
and
I
I
was
think
which I was a little surprised by for some reason. I guess I figured there would have to be something in between, but nope.
no movies, but I do know we have the Wakanda animated show coming out, and then we have Wonder Man and something else.
Yeah, something.
I think two other things.
Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh, there isn't even a Wikipedia page for it yet, so I don't know who's actually coming back in it.
Hmm. But all right. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go see it during the week or maybe next Sunday. Is kind of what I'm hoping to do.
Okay. John Bernthal will be appearing as Punisher in
Yes.
the upcoming Spider-Man movie, and Zendaya and Jacob Batalon will be returning as well, but that's going to take some doing to really work their characters back into it.
Yeah, however they're gonna go about it, it'd be interesting. I know Punisher's in it. Um, Curious with that. There's also talks of Wolverine or Deadpool being in it too. Those are minor talks, rumors. We'll see if that ever happens. Which
That'll
I think,
be interesting to see too, because they've said something now about, well, we're going to recast Iron Man and Captain America and the X-Men. I mean, recasting the X-Men, I understand, of course. Not quite sure where this recasting Iron Man and Captain America stuff's coming from or why, but I'll just wait and see for whatever's going to happen.
yeah, 100% true.
I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it. It's like, oh my god, how can you do that? Ah!
I mean, with the way they're going, they're gonna have to do that if they're doing like a semi reboot or um whatever they're doing with these next movies with Doomsday and Secret Wars. I mean, it's kind of what they do in the comics too, so it's fine. We'll just see who
Yeah,
they recast them as and go from there
I
and see
mean,
how they depict
it
the
it will
X-Men
be.
and which true X-Men team comes to light.
Yeah,
But all right then. We've been on for a minute, brother. So
brother.
we can uh we can sign off for the day. And fans, I just posted our last two episodes yesterday and I put the dates that recorded. And I apologize for being so late, but life happens, vacations happens, and work happens, and all kinds of other stuff. So I wanted to get them on before we came on today, so I did. And I'll be doing this video, editing it later today and posting it either tomorrow or Tuesday, along with some shorty clips to put on our social media platforms as well. But
We're going
until
to give you the short before we give you the long.
yeah, that's how you gotta work for it. You gotta work for it to make it long. There you go.
Yeah. You gotta work on the short to get it long.
Yes. Yep. Gotta
How
put in
many
that hard
more?
work.
How many more bad innuendo jokes can we make?
We can see. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up for today. So thank you for everyone who's been liking our videos on YouTube and our other social media platforms. We appreciate it, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And as Jeremy would say, I hope you finished with us. Yeah.